Yeah, I said. It was a plot of land Mama Lorazzo's son, Mario, owned in Jersey. Good. Now, got a flash out of the corner of my eye. I turned and met with Sam's bloody face. Move, bitch, he grunted, shoving me out of the way. Felt like a train hit me. I went down and laid limp like a slug. Get him! I screamed breathlessly. Tony shook himself awake and darted after Sam, who was at the door. Tony put him in a headlock and wrestled him to the ground. Sam yelled and shouted as Tony rained punches down on his head like a bull. Sam bucked Tony off and jumped to his feet. Catch me if you can, motherfuckers! He yelled, and ran up the stairs laughing. Motherfucker! Tony roared and leapt up. He bounded up the stairs 2 at a time. A second later, there was a crash. The whole house shook. Aching all over, lungs tight and weak. I stood with the help of the end table and shambled up the stairs. Yet. Sam was lying in the hallway. Tony was on top of him, dragging a straight razor across his throat. There was blood everywhere. On Sam, on Tony, soaking into the carpet, spattering the walls. I thought you said he was dead, I yelled, collapsing on the top step. Yeah,
there was no way I could.
Tony grunted.
There is
He stopped
no way.
and the knife fell on the floor. He sat there panting and looking at me, his face covered in sweat. He was fucking dead. Apparently not, I retorted.
I think I need perspiration.
Look, I know how to read a fucking pulse, Tony shouted, getting back to his feet.
Nope.
I'm telling you, he was dead. Whatever. He's dead now. And he's cut his fucking head off. Tony looked down at the serpentine corpse and spat on it. We got that right. We dragged his body back downstairs, left it in the kitchen. As we mopped up the blood, I thought again of Sam's magic. I knew Tony was right. Sam was dead. He was fucking dead. And he came back. No, that's crazy, I told myself. Tony knocked Sam out and misread the pulse, that's it. The arsenic. That should have kept him down. All right, Tony said, startling me. I was on my knees.
I gotta
in the hall trying to
avoid
get the blood on my carpet.
Thanks.
I'd have to replace it. Let's get him out of
here. You gotta avoid the shit.
I nodded.
God damn it.
Okay. We went back in the kitchen and...
More like a
swear to God, Sam was standing at the fridge. Pouring himself a fucking glass of milk. He turned to us and smiled. His face was so caked with dried blood, I couldn't tell. That's getting a drink for the road. Tony and I, we just stood there, frozen in place. Neither one of us could have moved, even if Satan himself was behind us.
You knew nothing.
I felt like a man watching a zombie somewhere in the dark crypt in an old Roger Corman movie. It was so surreal. I guess, so totally unbelievable and mind-shatteringly insane. There was no way he was alive and well enough to be chugging the Finally, after what felt like 1,000 years, Tony pulled his gun out of his coat and fired without even aiming. The first bullet struck Sam in the gut, ripping it open in an exaggerated shower of blood and intestines. He stumbled back, dropping his glass, and the second one caught him above the left eye, obliterating his skull. The spark seemed to tiptoe in there, fall over. Tony stood, heaving like a man who just run a marathon, sucking in air and blowing it out into his gusts. The report came heavy on the ground. He's dead.
Well, I gotta change it.
There was no way in hell they didn't hear the roar of the gun. In the confined kitchen, it was as loud as artillery fire. Tony was looking at me. That wasn't such a good idea, was it? Fuck, no, it wasn't, I said, my voice barely above a whisper. At least it took him down, Tony said, walking over to Sam's body. What are you doing? The cops are coming. Tony didn't acknowledge me. Wearing and tense, he regarded the body. He towed his head once, twice, 3 times, then bent down with his razor, severed the bastard's head and gouged his eyes out. When he was done, we looked at each other. I took a deep breath. Tony, I was speaking. The cops. Yeah, okay. Take care of the blood. I'll deal with Sam. As it turned out, no one called the cops after all. I had a reputation in the neighborhood. so people were more likely to mind their business when it came to me than anyone
Oh
else.
shit! The
Thank
bug.
God. It made sense afterward.
No
In the heat of the moment, I knew
bug.
some noisy fuck had picked up their phone.
No, I can't.
By then, we're out of the
God,
woods.
the bugs are so fucking.
Not that damn much.
The bugs, man.
Let's get out of here.
Damn
Tony
it, the
said.
bugs.
He wrapped Sam in his car from the garage. Outside it was dark and
Let me
muggy.
do this again.
I moved my car from under the orange glare of the
Get a knife.
and then ran back inside and his body down the bottom.
Shit, man. The fuck?
He opened the trunk and threw him in.
What?
Hey, what are you guys doing? Someone yelled from the front porch. None of your fucking business. Tony yelled, slamming the trunk. Hey, fuck you, buddy. How about I call the cops? Great. And there goes my grand reputation. Yeah? Tony shouted back. How about I kill your whole fucking family? I tried to hold him back, but he pulled away. Yeah, you try it, asshole. Tony broke into a run. The guy on the porch performed in the darkness, screaming in terror. 5 minutes later, Tony came back, his hands covered in blood. Piece of shit. Jesus, Tony. You're gonna get us pinched. No one talks to me like that. Let's go. Did you kill him? No. No, I didn't kill him.
Oh shit, no.
I broke his fucking nose. But
I
he had
know
it
the
covered.
bugs are doing.
I was fucking mad.
Bugs!
Inside.
Well, bugs are
You can't run around doing shit like that. One day, you're gonna meet someone who doesn't play fair. Yeah, Tony asked as we stood by the car. We're gonna wind up buried out in Jersey.
Oh dear.
We pulled away from the curb and set course for Jersey. From there on, the ride was quiet and calm. The only sound was the humming of the tires. We stopped only once before I stopped. Grabbed a few burgers, some gas,
Oh shit, what the
which
fuck?
I filled as Tony whipped out his food. The smell of it.
No, I can't do this. I'm not confident. Oh god, no.
We reached a grassy field in the woods about 2 hours after we left.
The
We
bug.
parked at the bottom of a gentle hill and kicked the engine. What if he's alive again? I asked fearfully. He won't be. He doesn't even have a head. Last time he had a slit throat against the bars, but that didn't stop him. Tony didn't reply. We got out and we went around to the trunk. Tony opened it as I stood back with my gun. Stand still. See? I told you. As if on cue, the body started moving. First a twitch, then a shudder and spasm. Fuck. Tony yelled, jumped back. I stood there, mesmerized with horror. This can't be happening. Even as dark laughter started to rise from the trunk. This can't be happening. Jesus Christ.
Leave it to me.
For the first time all night, Tony sounded scared. Or at least as close to scared as a guy like him can talk.
You know nothing of the way
You there
we
yet?
survive or be destroyed.
His voice
There
muffled.
is no other choice.
Those words, even more than the laughter, shattered my soul.
Do you know who I am?
I think I lost my mind. Behind me, Tony was shouting. I didn't hear what he was saying. I was too terrified to move.
Spirit never
Demons. Get out of the way! I heard that loud and clear. Only because at that precise instant, Tony shoved me aside and knocked me to the ground. The impact forced the breath out of my lungs and my mind back to this rightful place.
I'll keep going now, okay?
I don't know how many rounds Tony fired, but it was a lot. The reports seemed to last a lifetime, one after the other, echoing in the night. Silence when it came was deafening. Tony stood by the trunk, heaving in command of his running marathon. When he finally spoke, his voice was breathless
Oh
and
shit,
strained.
no. Well, I don't have
Where's
it.
the nearest town? The question was lost on me. What? Nearest town? Where's the last town we passed?
How should I dispose
I racked my brain.
you?
5 miles.
Upgrade configured.
Good, he said. Tucking his gun into his bag. He went around the car, opened one of the back doors, and took out the gas can. He upended it over the trunk, splattered Sam's body. We're leaving this car. I got to my feet. I didn't care at that point.
What are you
Done.
looking
Oh
at?
god,
Tony
no.
struck a match and dropped
Fuck,
it in
no.
the trunk. Frames whumped into life, crackling and swaying in cold night breeze. The smell of gas and burning clothes filled the
Nothing
air.
will survive or be destroyed. There is no other choice.
You got your gun. I know. On our way out, hit the tank.
What the fuck?
Okay. We waited until the fire had died down a little before we left. It took me 3 shots before I hit the tank. Tops. We walked 3 miles to a service station along the highway. Let's call the ride. I did my best not to think about it.
Oh,
Did a
shit,
pretty good
no.
job, too. When I was
I heard him.
every night there were all those
Oh, God, no.
fears. What the hell ever else came.
Hit again. Okay.
Bad
Look
around
at shit.
7, 8.
Spirit never dies.
No, I'm not here.
The wind is rising.
Took an overdose.
No, hurt on.
Took me to the hospital. Should never
Do
done.
you know who I am?
I got better for a few years. And then all started over again. Emergency coming.
No.
You
Man.
know nothing of the weight behind survive or be destroyed. There is no other choice.
Power than that fire. Nothing
Let's
else.
play.
There's no escape.
Let's play.
Honored to meet you.
Hey there, kids, it's me, Mr. Big.
It's fine. I have
Or
a ton of
listening to Guide's
help.
podcast on the podcast if you're listening to Guide there at Spotify or Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts or wherever you
Let's begin.
I want to remind you guys also that your life signs newsleaf team at Etsy.com/shop/ivory monocle tea. She has different teas, including 3D pasta tea, but you can get a mystery chocolate tea.
No, my hurt.
For a gathering sticker. She also has their
Almost died.
Support the show. Keeps the light on. Gives me treats when I'm out 2 cups. With playlists and victories. Both of them are a handful. And especially a big thank you to Haha Saha, Jordan Alexander Sanchez, Mexican, Ken Lando Higuchi, Shabinsky, Nico Kyle, Kristen Pelton, Stephen
Nothing of the
Van
weight
Hurst, Chance
survive or
Berger,
be destroyed. There is no other choice.
Carter Barenfanger, Dr. Strawberry, Jordan Wayne,
Ah.
Bradley Lipe, the Government Monitoring System, Ann Charon, Rumble Fox, Acid System, Mike Bullock, Rafael Rodriguez, Dan Sweet, Mad Marstomp, Prozac, and Pancake Appreciation Society, Sean Mills, Brian Arts, Cryptic Nightmares, Shadow Morningstar, Somber Puppet, Brianna Wright, Someone You Love, Fed the King 56, Bad Honey, S-Man, Kiri the Sloth, Patrick Schoolmeister, Thomas Bergen, Barbara Masayo, Bobby Carmen, Liam Newman, The Homeless Bird 93, Sky Harbor, Caleb Dougal, Last Blade Song, Eliminator 86, The Ginger Bros, Aaron Storm Pro, and Corey X Kenshin. A big thank you to all of you guys and everybody down there in the description. I really can't thank you guys enough for supporting the show. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I gotta go to the
Everybody who
blanks.
listens.
That's what I do.
Sweet dreams.
Go to the blanks. Now it's straight line. God damn it.
I woke up what felt like an eternity later in a hospital bed, feeling high off my eyeballs on painkillers. Nothing ached anymore, nothing even tingled. Compared to the ball of pain I'd been in when I was in the tank, this was heaven. The room was small with 4 white walls and a machine that beeped every time my heart thumped in my chest. The sun shone through a window on my right, just peeking through the clouds. Must have been out all night. Regardless, I was glad just to be alive. Then everything that had transpired in the past 24 hours came rushing back to me. Disturbing images of a gigantic insect munching on me, with jagged teeth flashed through my mind, its wiry legs sliding over my limbs. I tried to shake the thought from my head, blinking my eyes a couple of times to bring back the present. That was when I noticed the person slumped over on the chair next to me. Her head was resting on her shoulder. Her whole body leaning to the left. Strands of her red hair were hanging over her face while a pile of comic books lay on her lap. The smile crept across my face. She really
The
was
hell,
determined not to see me again.
Gotta go to the blanks.
Hey, I croaked. My dry throat mangled the words as it came out of my mouth. Emily stirred but didn't wake up. I swallowed, trying to work up the saliva to speak clearly. Hey!
Is it the blanks or much dangerous
My
shit?
eyes jerked open.
I don't
She
know.
blinked a few times before looking up to see that I was staring back at her. Ty! She raced to my side, completely forgetting about the comic books on her lap, which spilled all over the place. I thought you'd never wake up, Emily said, putting her hand on my cheek. How are you feeling? Honestly, I feel amazing. But I think it's the morphine, or whatever they gave me. Yeah. Well, you took a fucking beating last night. I'm getting survivor's guilt just thinking about it. You should see the other guy. Emily's face softened. A look of affection spreading across her. My heart began to flutter in my chest, causing the ECG machine to make a series of oddly timed beeps. Look,
I don't know, man.
I'm not good saying sappy shit. You know that, Emily said,
Man, it's
blowing
not
her
my
eyes
good
as her
hair.
cheek began to glow pink.
That'd be fucking hella.
I asked expectantly. Emily rolled her eyes. Punching me softly. But I want to. For you.
I will.
Here goes. She took my hand in
Took a
hers.
lot of fucking damage.
Exhaled slowly, and looked me right in the eye as she spoke. I know someone who always gets herself
More like a shit
and others
face. I don't like it.
into dangerous situations.
Ah,
If there's nothing I can remember, you've always been the one who's protected me there. Even at school, when the other
takes a
kids
lot.
would talk shit to me because I used to dress like a punk, you always stood up for me. I never had to ask you to do that. I always looked up to you, she said, giving my hand a squeeze. Emily bit her lip, briefly pausing to whip her short hair behind her ear.
Get out! Shit, no.
Then, when we first went to the
No,
town,
I'm not gonna get them.
you still protected me. Even if it was super obvious that I was being completely reckless by pushing you guys to go in there. After Jeremy died, I called you to tell you how I felt, but my dumbass parents wouldn't even let me talk to you. She hung her head, eyes staring down at the bed sheets. Then we moved away. And I spent 10 years not knowing if I was ever going to see you again. Missing you every day. And then I came back here. And you actually still wanted to be my friend. After everything that happened with Jeremy. Not only that, but you almost got killed protecting me. Emily paused for a moment. Oh, thank God for that. I didn't know if my heart could take anymore.
Bug bosses. Motherfucking bugs.
She held a finger.
A little something for everyone.
I'm not done.
Here.
Okay?
Motherfucking
Okay.
bugs.
I said, holding my free hand up in defense. She
Fucking
took a deep breath
bugs.
and continued. Let's take a step. You always... In a way that doesn't really want to smash your brain.
The wind is rising.
You're sweet. And you're pretty cute just like in the door. I just want to say this before I could respond. Emily leaned in
Doesn't do anything.
and kissed me. Time stopped for me as Emily has invaded all my senses. Her soothing palm on her cheek, the smell of her fruity perfume,
Be destroyed.
and the milky freshness of her breath.
I doesn't do shit. Fuck.
Her soft lips felt amazing as they pressed up
That
against
did
mine,
bug damage.
sending a warm, fuzzy feeling cascading over my face.
Stay the course.
Felt like a kiss with her hand. She finally relented to go off the air. I opened my eyes to see her looking back at me. Her eyes seemed to glow as she smiled at me. I love you, Tyler. Relief flooded through me.
Let's begin.
My heart leaping with joy. There was so much I wanted to say. I wanted my own monologue. I wanted to tell her everything I loved about her. How she was so brave, inspiring, determined, smart, resourceful. How she refused to give up. My heart of gold under a seemingly cold exterior. It was super cute on top of all that. But I knew I could sum all that up. I love you too. Emily's face cracked into a white grin. The happiest I think I'd ever seen her.
Immediate that.
Now that all that was out of the way, I couldn't help myself. I wanted to kiss her again. I leaned in slowly. Emily followed my lead, but the moment was interrupted by the sound of the door into the room swinging open. I opened my eyes to see an older woman wearing a white coat leering at us with a disapproving look in her eyes. You can get your jollies off later. Right now you need to rest. 3 broken ribs. A badly infected wound on my leg that required a dozen stitches to close. A minor concussion and a heap of cuts and bruises. That was the official write-up by the hospital. But luckily I had insurance, so I was able to stay in a relatively decent room while I was being nursed back to health. The pain meds kept me from struggling too much, although my breathing continued to be slightly impaired due to the aforementioned broken ribs. I had a number of visitors during my stay in the hospital, the most regular being Emily, who came in just about every day to see me. Having her by my side was what made the stay seem to fly by, as each day she would bring me something to read and watch. We snuck in a few snuggles, staff looking around. Emily also filled me in on what happened after I passed out in the car. The guard had managed to get me out with the assistance of the other security personnel. Told them everything that had happened from my first visit to the tank to our last. Having literally witnessed a zombie lady disappear in front of his eyes, he was more inclined to believe our story, backing her up in front of his colleagues who were in disbelief. In exchange for the guards not reporting our breaking and entering to the police, Emily agreed to pay for the repairs to the tank.
Ah, fuck it.
But
I'm
Emily
fighting
wasn't the
her.
only visitor I received during my stay.
No. I hate
It
this.
was late on a Wednesday afternoon. I was in the hospital for 2 weeks. I began to feel a lot better. Breathing was easier. My chest didn't hurt as much. And I was beginning to walk around on crutches without much difficulty. Emily had popped out to go to the shops when Special Agent Garrison
Spirit never
confidently
dies.
strode into the room. Stylish voice, he said, looking up and down through his signature black sunglasses. I immediately sat up on my bed, stunned by his sudden arrival. Agent Garrison, you look like you've seen better days. Your mom. I swallowed, unsure how to respond.
Oh, what the fuck?
Things are getting better, though.
That hurts.
He nodded. We sat in silence for a few moments. I wondered if he knew what had happened. Surely he did, if he was here.
You know nothing of the weight behind this.
Rumor around town is that you and Emily DeStoro were at the water tank on the edge of town 2 weeks ago. Well, you know,
As easy as
people say a
that.
lot of things, I said, trying not to show that I was freaking out inside. Relax, I'm not here to arrest you. I exhaled, not realizing I'd been holding my breath. If everything I heard from that security guard is correct, you're trying to help the person who took the life of your best friend, Garrison said, taking a seat next to me.
What are you looking at?
You might not know this, but I've lost a number of good colleagues during my time with the FBI. Some I'd go as far as to describe as my friends.
The wind is
I know what it's like to lose a friend. And to be I was secretly rooting for you.
Survive or be destroyed.
I believe there's forces in this world more powerful than we can imagine. Both positive and negative. Paused for a moment. And I waited in anticipation for him to continue. From what I understand, there is an evil here in Parsky. I believe you've cleansed part of it. But I don't believe it's fully disappeared yet.
Spirit never dies.
I'm willing to commit myself to finding out what's going on in this town. And I just wanted to thank you for inspiring me to do so. I was taken aback by this. I had always regarded Garrison as the most understanding cop that I'd ever spoken to during the entire tank saga. I had no idea he believed in the supernatural.
Fuck.
Regardless, it was good to have him on my side. He very deliberately told us last time that if we interfered in his investigation again, he'd have no choice but to arrest us. What was more intriguing was what he said about Parsky. Does this mean that Margaret was only the beginning of the darkness that existed in this town? Were there more demons and zombies yet to be unearthed? You think there's more evil in Parsky? Do you know where to find it?
There is no other choice.
Garrison patted me on the shoulder before standing up and moving to the foot of my bed. And I have an idea.
Never dies.
Leave it to me.
Don't worry about that.
A week later, I was out of the hospital. My ribs having fully healed, I now confidently walk around on crutches, and the wound in my leg had disappeared. A round scar replaced it. Having only booked a week at the hotel I was staying at, I had nowhere to go. But thankfully, Emily talked her uncle into letting me crash at his place. While I was there, Emily and I talked about our future.
Oh my God,
and the fact that it was
no.
now time for each other
My
to
healer.
return to different cities and continue our lives.
I'm fucking healer.
In the end,
No, fuck.
You decided to give one of these kids a shot. I know the odds of it working out weren't great, but I was prepared to put the effort in because Emily was certainly worth it. Emily only had 1 year left in her degree, so she promised once she finished, she would move to Missouri to look for work and be with me. I told her that she didn't have to sacrifice so much, but she put her foot down on the matter. I'm not one to challenge her when she's that determined. On our last day in Parsky, I joked that we should go back to the tank and light it on fire. Burn that godforsaken thing to the ground. No, we can't do that. But we could light the sky on fire. She responded, digging around on her bedside table to produce the bag of fireworks she bought way back when. I can't believe you still have those. Wouldn't let such a high-quality firework go to
The
waste.
weight behind it. Survive or be destroyed.
Where do you want to go?
Choice.
That night, Emily drove us up to the top of Ellendale
Timely
Hill,
treatment.
named after a famous settler who passed through Parsky on their way to establishing a settlement nearby. We bought some beer, snacks, of course the fireworks.
Oh shit, yeah, man. Oh
From
no.
the top of the hill, we could see the lights of the city, twinkling in the distance,
Oh no.
Oh dear.
I heard that.
as well as the water tank
Shit.
over the town. Cheers. He said to Vincent, drinking our bonnets together. I took a swig of the bitter brew. It'd been a while since I'd had any alcohol, and right now, this cold beer tasted better than it ever had.
Nothing like the weight behind this.
I could see the
Survive
Emily
or be
staring at
destroyed.
me.
There is no
Sleepy look on her
choice.
face.
How many rounds?
What? I asked. Oh,
Is it
nothing.
6 rounds? I hate this.
Like looking at your dumb face. Guess you're lucky I put up with your abuse then. But poor you. Here. Let me make it up to you. We kissed.
Spirit never
Our warm
dies.
bodies pressed together in the cold night. Okay. No, if that wasn't enough, let me light up the
No,
sky
my
in appreciation
healer.
for you, Emily said, calling over to the fireworks display that she had set up earlier. There was still one thing nagging me I wanted to mention.
What
before
was
she did.
that?
No, fuck. Okay.
How much it was
I
something
hate
could
that.
mention when fireworks were going off. Hey, wait. Before you do, I said, putting my arm on hers.
Yeah, yeah, fuck.
Emily whipped her head back to me, green eyes shining in the night. What? I just want you to do one thing for me. Oh, come on, I already told you. I'm not doing that because I'm not that kind of girl, she protested. I rolled my eyes, suppressing the inner urge to laugh. No, not that, you idiot. Emily sighed. Fine, what is it? I want you to forgive yourself for everything that happened.
Dude, the
careful.
hell, man?
That appeared to catch Emily off
No. Okay. Fuck.
as she was rendered speechless with no quick-fire retort to be heard. I know you still blame yourself for what happened because it was your idea, and you encouraged us to join you. I explained, squeezing her arm.
No, it's
So,
fuck.
wait.
No.
Say.
No.
We
Yeah,
made a
he
decision
bought
to go there
bullshit.
together.
That's bullshit, man.
Just like you, I
How
did.
can I do it?
You need to let go of that belief you got.
Mind
The
violating.
weight be survive or be destroyed.
Emily sighed,
There is no other choice.
running her hand through her hair. But I was no buts. I want you to promise me, I said. This time those Emily's turned to roll her eyes. Fine, you got me. So do I. Good. I don't blame myself for his death. Okay. Say it. I don't blame myself. Emily nodded. But Jeremy, I promise. Good. Now can I get on with it? Took a lot of effort to set this up, you know. Go for it. So we sat and watched the sky turn into a shower of color and light. Someone's head resting on my shoulder.
The debuff, man. The debuff bullshit. Oh, fuck.
And for a brief moment, I swear I saw a spirit floating above the tank, dancing from one spot,
Debuff.
his face looking very, very familiar.
Debuff, man. How can I do it? You can't. You don't have no ruler. Okay.
How should I dispose
That's
of
dumb.
you?
Okay.
Hey there, kids. It's me, Mr.
Oh my
Creepypasta.
God, no,
And I wanted to tell you all thank you so much for listening to...
Brave the wind.
I hate that.
Let's begin.
Honored to meet me.
After getting barely 3 hours, I somehow managed to get to the Varsity Public Library.
I mean, you can talk about
I scanned the room but didn't see any enemies.
do that again. Just
Spirit
one.
never
Like,
dies.
I looked around and saw a sight that was so bizarre, it took my brain a second to catch up to my eyes.
You know nothing of the survive or
And the elderly woman from last night was sitting in the children's book section, sitting on plastic stools with a small blue and yellow table in between them. They both had a mug of tea in front of them. The old woman eagerly taking a sip from hers as she saw me approach.
leave it to me.
Oh man, you mean I missed out on sharing what I read this week? I joked as I grabbed a small stool, sitting down
so
at the table.
garbage.
Emmy smacked me on the arm. Shh. Okay, I reckon he lowered my voice.
Do you know what it is?
The woman said, smirking behind her cup of tea. I remember when I used to chase boys around at your age. Emmy let out a sound that was somewhere between a nervous cough and an anxious laugh.
Let's begin.
Inadvertently causing the tea in her throat to surge back into her
Don't
mouth.
survive or be
The
destroyed.
result rendered her unable to speak
I
due
hate
to a
that
coughing
thing.
fit,
Debuff,
and left it
debuff,
for me to
fuck that.
clarify that we weren't actually together. I think what she's trying to say is that we're not dating, I said to the woman. Well, I think you'd make a great couple, she says, slyly nudging me as Emmy wiped her mouth with a tissue. I definitely had a crush on Emmy in high school. We had been friends since we were young, after all. Unfortunately, being a teenager, I never worked up the courage to tell her. I'd always thought she was cute, but now any kind of romance seemed impossible, given we lived in different cities. Thanks for the advice. What's your name, by the way? I asked. I'm Annie. I'm sorry if I scared you the other night. She apologized, putting her hand on my arm. I didn't mean to frighten you. Anyway, said Emmy, who are you? How do you know us? And what do you know about
I
the...
hate that debuff. No!
Annie took a deep breath.
Not
Bringing her arms
our
close to her chest.
debuff food.
A wonderful
Bullshit,
look spread
man.
over her face as
Bullshit.
she seemed to heavily contemplate what she was about to say.
I hate that.
Margaret was my sister, she said finally. We grew up here. Didn't have much, but
Another
They did.
bug. Fucking debuff.
Margie, though.
I hate that debuff.
Not
Anne slowly rubbed her eye patch, pressing 2 fingers to the leather and massaging it rhythmically. She had trouble mentally.
Debuff.
spirit
Saw
never
things
dies.
that weren't given. Or she was really worried about things that were not true. My mom never really understood
My heart.
mental health was something that was taboo.
What are you looking at?
Never really feel about it. So she rushed it onto the carpet.
I hate this.
Never took Margaret to see anyone. It was up to me to keep her safe, and I tried my best to do because I was her sister. And I think I was the only real person she ever trusted during this.
I'll keep on. I'll keep on.
She was teased relentlessly at school, and while she was superb,
I'm fine.
academically, her teachers always kept their distance. They never really understood.
You know nothing of the
Emmy
survive
paused,
or be
looking at the
destroyed.
hazy tea in her
There
mug.
is no choice.
I realized that both me and Emmy had begun to lean in closer to her so closely that we could see the inside details of the cup. She found a man,
Motherfucking bugs! Okay, bugs.
He had a
are
family.
Fucking annoying.
all of which
Fuck.
was really good for her. She loved her son more than life
I will
itself.
have a
She
disgusting
said,
moment.
still peering down into her cup. That's why the day when Michael fell into the water tank, she trailed off, staring off into space.
another boss moment.
Now, at this point, Emily and I practically were face to face with her, and I could see the tears beginning to well up in her one visible
This
eye.
one. Okay.
I'm sorry, Annie said, pulling a handkerchief out of her leather purse and dabbing at her eye with it. It's okay, I assured her. So her son drowned in a water tank? Asked Emily. And nodded. Margie went out to do shopping and left them home.
Brave the
Took a
wind.
nap and Mikey got bored, so he went out to the back and started fooling around. The tank wasn't locked up when he
Do you know who I am?
well, he fell in. I couldn't imagine how horrible it must have been. She cried out in pain, clutching her eye patch and rubbing it vigorously. I wondered what was underneath that patch that was causing her so much pain, and why she had been rubbing it so much since she started the story. Maybe she was still internalizing.
I have no that.
Are you okay? Yeah. Not really sure how to help you. I'm fine, she said. Her face contorted into a grimace. Sometimes when I talk about this, she...
I only have 100 DPS.
She?
I don't have much.
Oh, and started waving Emily off. Yes, I'll get to that. Taking another deep breath, she continued with her story. When Margie found out what happened, she couldn't take it. She was destroyed, as any mother feeling with her child so young would be. But for her, it was worse. Mentally, she couldn't sleep. I spoke to her on the phone, and it was horrific. Then she began accusing me of stealing. That rang a bell in my mind. The zombie woman, or I guess I should say, Zombie Marge, was screaming at us for her boy when we were in the tank. I tried so hard to tell her that I had not. I would not ever do something like that. Especially as her only sister, but she wouldn't listen. And that's when she got physical. Only once in pain.
Nothing of the
She
way
clutched her right hand with her left, as if to prevent herself from rubbing her eye patch. She attacked you, I said. That's how I got this. Annie pointed to the eye patch with a small smile. Nearly scratched my eye out until she thought I had matched him. I didn't. What happened to her? Asked Emma. The eye I could say.
Oh shit! Debuff! You're mocking me!
Paused. Her face twisted with sorrow.
What the fuck is a debuff?
After she left me in a coat of
They
flesh,
do debuff, fuck this.
by this time, her husband Rick had woken up and was trying to figure out what the hell was happening. But she refused to come out. Still remember lying there, watching Rick pounding on the door desperately, calling her name over and over again. Then there was the most horrible sound. The flashlight so bright I could have been blinded in the other eye if I wasn't careful. Emily said, her voice barely a whisper. Annie gave a small nod to confirm her statement.
No,
In the bathroom, with a hair dryer. Margie's who we saw in the tank. Turning back to Annie. I hate to think what's become of her. Annie responded. It's definitely not necessary. You saw us at the cemetery, you said. The eye sees. She's... What did you mean by that? Annie gripped her left hand with her right hand.
I don't know.
Spirit never dies. Gale force.
Practically useless, so I wear this.
What?
But every now and then, see her. It began shortly after the funeral. I woke up in the middle of the night, and all I could see
Oh, debuff again. Fuck.
Honored to meet me.
was...
Like, what
Annie
the
searched
fuck,
for the
man?
right
I
words as
don't
her
have
voice
the
broke. It was like I was underwater.
Spirit never dies.
Like, more the bugs.
You mean you were looking through her eyes while she was in the tank?
Time to retreat.
You looking at?
And it only got worse from there. A few years later, I saw Jackson, my friend. That night was busy.
The wind
Right, the
rises.
box.
Ever since that night, I began getting flashbacks. I relived what I saw happen 1,000 times over. Your faces were etched into my memory. So much that I even began to feel your presence.
No, fuck you.
Darcy.
Do you know who I am?
That was how I felt at the cemetery last night. A silence fell over the table as Emily and I contemplated what she told us. The memories rushing back of the unrecognizable thing we had encountered inside the tank that night. I couldn't bring myself to tell Annie anything about what the situation.
Fuck.
It was a fate worse than death.
I like everything.
The silence was broken by Emmy, who stood up out of her seat and began shouting at Annie, completely ignoring the fact we were in a library.
Okay.
Why didn't you do anything? She said, stabbing an accusatory finger at her. You saw what was going on. You could have called the cops. Emily shook as she spoke. Her eyes blazed with the fire of 1,000 suns. It was actually kind of scary to see. It was just... was glad I wasn't on the other end.
I
didn't know if what I was seeing was real. I thought I was hallucinating until I read about it in the paper. Annie stammered, putting her hands up in defense. Emily slammed her fist under the table and stared daggers at Annie. Jeremy died, and you could have saved him. With that, she stormed off, a number of onlookers murmuring as she slammed the library door behind her. I sat there awkwardly for a moment before returning my eye to Annie, who looked like she'd just seen a ghost.
No more fucking debuff, alright?
I should probably check on her.
I don't care, I give a shit.
I said.
I don't give a shit.
But before I could get out of my seat, I felt the pincer-like grip of Annie's hand on my arm. If you go back, she said, pulling something out of her pocket, can you give this to her? And he placed a black and white photograph in my hand. It was a young boy, looking no older than 6. He was smiling, clutching a basketball in his hands. Maybe Margie will find what she's searching for. Annie said, using her wrinkled hand to close mine over the photo.
Fucking bug.
I couldn't really think of what else to say, but thanks. Before rushing out the door after Emily, leaving Annie to try to explain what all the noise was about.
Let's go for the top.
I found Emily standing outside, her back pressed up against the library wall and a cigarette between her lips. She pulled it away and exhaled smoke into the air as she saw me approach. Sorry. It's been a while since my last one, Emily said. Her cheeks turned a shade of pink as she flicked ash onto the ground. I didn't know you smoked, taking up a position next to her. Well, it's actually my first in like a year, and I quit because
Fuck bugs, man.
I guess the stress of this whole thing is stupid. I get you. I didn't mean to blow up. No, really, that was dumb. Emily gave me a genuinely apologetic look before adding,
Spirit never dies.
"Stop." She jumped into the photo I held in my right hand. For a moment, I forgot I'd even been holding it. I curled my fist and gave it to her.
That's a lot of fucking damage.
Annie gave it to me. It's Margaret's son. Emily studied the photo for a moment, pursing her lips. She told me to give it to her if we went back. I added that last part hesitantly,
the fuck is that?
not knowing how Emily would react to the suggestion. I wasn't even sure if I wanted to return to my choice. Somehow, it felt like the right thing to do. After everything Annie had told us, I almost felt like I was obligated to do something about Margaret.
Leave it to me.
If there was a way to fix her, to prevent other young children from dying, we might as well give it our best shot. The first time we visited the tank, we had no idea what we were doing. At least now, we had some idea. Emily handed the photo back to me and dropped the butt of her cigarette to the ground.
Do you know who I
She
am?
mashed it under the heel of her black pomade. You can die, Tyler.
Let's begin.
Emily made eye contact with me as I spoke. I believe pupils peering in her eyes. She hardly ever called me Tyler,
Underestimate me?
only when she was being serious. I don't want to be responsible
Great idea. Fuck
for
that.
you two.
What a great idea.
She lowered her gaze to the ground.
Great idea.
I put my arm on her shoulder, giving her a squeeze. I knew I couldn't do this without her.
There is no other
She was the whole reason I'd come back to Parsky.
Dear.
I understood why she was hesitant. This wasn't the Emily I needed. I needed the Emily who didn't give a shit, who was ready to take a risk. We do this together, or not at all. I said, if you're not going with me, then I won't go.
Let's begin.
Emily slowly looked up at me. Her eyes beginning to slightly glow in the sun. I'm not gonna pussy out on you. I said with a grin. Emily
Not a great idea.
slightly punching me in the arm.
Okay.
That's my line, loser.
That's too awesome.
The headlights of my car illuminated the gloomy road as I slowly made my way to the meetup spot, the entrance of the long-neglected Parsky Industrial Estate. My stomach did backflips as I drove, the anxiety beginning to creep up into my throat. Here I was, voluntarily returning to a place that claimed 2 lives already, and it almost
easy as that.
Just our death wish. It'll be crazy.
What a fucking...
Although I guess there is a third option on that checklist.
Okay,
Must be Emily's friend. I saw Emily's car on the side of the road and pulled over behind her. My heart beginning to beat faster with anticipation. I killed the engine and climbed out of the car. The large boots on my feet already beginning to feel way too big for me. My kit included rubber insulated gloves, high visibility pants and top, a high visibility jacket, and a yellow hard hat. I definitely felt more prepared than last time. Whether that would even matter, I'll have to find out. Emily was standing with her back against the car door, gazing up.
I'll do 2 healers. Okay, I'll
to the top of the hill, illuminated by floodlights on either side.
I'll do 2 healers. I don't give a shit.
You ready? I asked. As I made my way over to her, she jumped slightly as if jolted out of a trance. Emily exclaimed,
The wind is
around to
wrong.
face me. Yeah.
Do nothing of the way to survive or be destroyed.
He said.
There is no
Giving me a
other
look
choice.
up and down. Likewise. Emily was set up similarly to me.
As easy
With
as
a pair
that.
of bolt cutters she had purchased earlier stuff to do a belly. She took the lead as we began walking up the same route as we had 10 years ago, through the decaying industrial estate and the top of the hill leading up to the water tank. The cold wind whipped out of our backs as our boots crunched over stones. The carcasses of former business houses passed by. After slogging through the uphill section, trying to make sure my hard hat wouldn't topple off throughout the journey, we finally made it to the plateau. In front of us lay the tank, surrounded by a chain-link barbed wire fence that extended several feet off the ground. There was a gate in the middle of the fence that appeared to be locked shut. Fortunately, security was nowhere to be seen. Emily got to work cutting a hole in the fence for us to get through, just as she had done all those years ago. There. Come on, Ty.
Spirit never dies.
Ducked my head and climbed through the hole behind her, making sure I didn't get my hard hat caught in the jagged pieces of steel hanging out above me.
Do nothing of the way to
The
survive
tank
or be destroyed.
was waiting for us on
There is
the
no
other
other
side.
choice.
Hey, what the hell are you guys doing? A shot came from behind us. Without thinking, I whipped around to see a balding man with a blue button on his shirt rushing towards us, flashlight in hand. As he came closer into view, I could see that he had a small radio in his breast pocket and a gun holstered to his hip. Security was here after all. Get out of there right now before I call the cops. I immediately put my arms in the air, not wanting to go to jail for what we'd already done. But Emily had other ideas. Well, calm down, pal. We're here to clean the tank, she said, raising her palms into the air to show the guard her gloves. I realized what she was doing and immediately got on board with it, pretending that raising my arms in the air had also been part of showing off my gloves. The guard scratched his head, giving us the once-over with his eyes. Wait, why'd y'all break in then? He exclaimed, pointing at the hole cut in the fence. Well, we were told that you would let us in, but you never showed up, retorted Emily, not missing a beat. Or did you want us to wait all night? The man was clearly caught off guard by all of this and looked unsure of how to respond. They didn't tell me. Look, if you need us, we'll be in the tank. Shouldn't be more than 45 minutes, capiche? Emily turned and began marching.
Oh, wait. No, fuck.
But to follow her.
Receiver. Okay, no.
The steps beneath me felt a lot more stable than before,
What?
but it didn't do anything to ease my anxiety as we
No,
reached the top
fuck.
of the tank. The cityscape stretched out beneath
But-
us, the lights of Parsky glittering over the horizon.
Fuck.
Could never get over how beautiful it looked out here. There was never enough time to enjoy it. I turned back to see Emily fiddling with a small hatch at the center of the roof, holding her flashlight in one hand and bolt cutters in the other. Here, hold this, she said, handing her flashlight over to me. What's the problem? There's a handle here, but it won't budge. Emily placed the bolt cutters around the little handle jutting out of the hatch and began to pull with all of her might. The metal groaned and protested, but held strong. She yelled. The strain became too much, causing her to lose her grip on the tool and fall backwards onto the roof. I moved to help her, but no sooner had she fallen, she was back up again. Stupid thing! Emily shouted, unleashing a devastating kick into the handle. Her foot collided with the metal, causing the hatch to unexpectedly
Spirit
swing
never
open.
dies.
I couldn't believe what I had just witnessed. gazed at the hatch and was relieved. Then looked back at Emily, clutching her foot,
no.
with a grimace on her face. Are you like superhuman or something? I asked, my eyebrows raised. Guess I should get angry more often, Emily answered through gritted teeth. Jesus, that hurt. Guess
Oh.
walking over to the now open hatch, I shined my flashlight down into the depths of the tank. There was a ladder descending down into the darkness. The water below.
Do you know what?
Now, fucking wait, I guess. Emily rolled her eyes. So fun. Well, what's your suggestion then? She took a deep breath and proceeded to unleash a torrent of abuse to the water. Hey, you old hag! We're here, just like you wanted. 2 juicy humans. Now, I know you're more into kids, which is kind of weird if you ask me, but we're yours for the taking. Emily continued to shout at the void as I watched for any kind of movement in the water. The beam of light from my flashlight hovered from one spot to another. Still, there's no head or body there.
No, fuck the bug.
I was just about to give up when I realized something else was happening.
The bug.
Something slow and methodical. Water like was falling. Hey, stop!
Fuck.
Emily's verbal barrage will let
Nothing of the survive
water.
or be destroyed. There is no
Water was now more than
Those are,
further down.
those are so annoying. Those bugs.
How's that happening? Emily asked, sounding like a child witnessing a
12
magic
bucks
trick for the
now.
first time.
Doesn't matter.
I had no idea how it was happening, so I had to take a guess.
Go pack.
I'd say it had something to do with logic.
Fuck.
Come on, let's climb down, Emily said, grabbing the ladder with her hands.
My.
I hesitated. Don't you think we should wait until the water stops falling? I mean, you know there's a zombie at the bottom of this tank, don't you?
Bugs.
Emily rolled her eyes, then proceeded to lower her legs onto the ladder.
Another one of those bugs.
Isn't that why we're here? She said, looking up at me. The fact that she was now making her way down without me didn't leave me much
The
choice.
wind is rising.
There were a lot of positives to teaming up with Emily, but the fact that she often gave it to the bird plunged
They're all gonna attack. I
was not
know
one
it.
of them.
Okay. Boom.
I reluctantly pocketed my flashlight and slowly descended the ladder. The handles were wet and crusty, some covered in rows of barnacles. The darkness seemed to close in around us as we lowered ourselves into the void, and I tried to make a conscious decision not to step on any below me. When we finally made it to the bottom of the ladder, I realized the water was all but gone. The floor of the tank now visible beneath us. I let go of the ladder, my feet coming into contact with the solid ground of the tank for the first time in more than a decade.
Bugs.
You alright?
Bugs. Bugs.
Yeah. You got your flashlight? As much as I wanted to turn my flashlight on, part of me was reluctant to even do that. I knew what lurked inside the tank.
Leave
Knew
it
what
to
it
me.
was. I pulled my flashlight out of my pocket because I couldn't bring myself to flick the switch.
Oh dear.
The tool hung in my hand.
Do you know who I am?
Drowning in bullets. I wasn't ready to take the shot.
Hey man, the hell, right, help now. Fuck. Fuck the bug.
Squeeze it tightly. This together or not at all. Emily said.
Ah!
I had my statement from earlier.
Bug.
I turned to look at her. I saw that she too had her flash.
There is no other choice.
In that moment, I knew now wasn't the time to be hesitant. It was the time for action. Yeah, something like that, I said, grinning in the darkness. 3, Emily responded. I nodded. They spoke in unison.
The
One.
wind is rising.
So many bugs.
3. Despite all the planning and equipment we'd undertaken before returning to this horrific place, I wasn't prepared for what I saw when our flashlights came to life. Lying about 5 feet across from us on the tank floor was a strange, insect-like creature. It was lying on its back with 3 sets of hairy legs curled in the air. It looked like a gigantic, life-size beetle, except for its body was covered in greenish fur. Well, it had 3 heads. From what I could see, one was larger than the other 2, and 2 had long mandibles extending down from its mouth. Its body was covered in water that appeared to be flowing up into its mouth like it was sucking it in as it slept. Its abdomen was so large that I couldn't see its face, or faces, from where I was. The bug looked like some kind of cross between a beetle and an ant, with its rows of spindly legs combined with a huge black abdomen. However, its main head looked more ant-like, with long antennae protruding from it and sharp mandibles expanding down from its mouth. The two other heads were sort of molded into the skin of its first, extending out from the left and right sides of its face. It looked nothing like we'd seen the last time we were here. Before Marge, it looked somewhat like a person. This thing wasn't human. What the fuck? Finished that expletive, the beetle began to convulse violently, twisting its head towards us. Letting out a confusing screech.
There'll be more to come.
It felt like a gale of wind was blowing through me, and my hearing was reduced to white noise. I staggered back as the insect formerly known as Margaret twisted its body and stood up on its 6 hairy legs. It crawled towards us, moving faster than I expected for something of its size. As it came closer, I recognized all 3 of its faces. In the middle was unmistakably Margaret, but the other 2, the one I had seen 1,000 times on TV after his death, and the second was my best friend, Tim and Jeremy. Their faces were scrunched next to Marge's, but while hers was twisted into angry snarls, theirs were contorted in what I could describe as intense anguish. They were in pain. The beast let out another screech, somehow even louder than the first, this time rearing up on its hind legs and spraying out some kind of green liquid from its main mouth. I dived out of the way as the mist rained down on us, but barely just missing me. Emily had also managed to jump to safety, landing a foot away from me. I shone my light at the gooey substance the creature had spewed out and saw that it was sizzling above the ground, eating away at the surface. It was shooting acid at us. Nothing in our toolbox could deal with that. The white noise continued in my ears as I locked eyes with Emily, her face red just like mine. We were out of our depth. I struggled to my feet and helped her up, my knees wobbling beneath me as fear began to consume my body. This was too much to handle. We could at least attempt to subdue a zombie, but there was no way we'd ever be able to get this creature under control. This thing didn't care about a photo. Margaret wasn't even human anymore. What came next was certain evidence of that. The grotesque insect threw back its head, let out a primal shriek, and charged directly at us. At the same time as it roared, showering us with spit, our flashlights blinked and then turned off. It took me a moment to act. The sudden transition to pure darkness catching me off guard. That's why when I did make my move, attempting to dodge out of the way, it was too late. I did make it to the ground, thankful for wearing long sleeves as I skidded along the concrete, but the rough impact was followed by something a lot more painful. I felt a sharp object pierce through my right leg with such force that the air in my lungs exploded out of my mouth, leaving me gasping for air just as Margaret smashed into the wall beside me. My scream caught in my throat as I frantically felt down my leg in the darkness. My hand came to grasp a round, furry object sticking out of my skin just above the knee. I didn't have a chance to try and address my situation because the beast immediately began jerking its leg frantically, carrying me along for a ride. It's hard to accurately describe in words what being on the end of this punishment felt like. If I had to compare it to something, I would say it was like being on a roller coaster ride when the safety harness is just a little too tight. Except that the safety harness on me was plunging directly into my flesh, digging in further and further as the minutes went by. My hard hat bounced off the floor as I was dragged around like a paper doll. The vibrations causing my world to be turned upside down repeatedly. I heard Emily scream my name somewhere in the darkness, followed by a guttural screech from Margaret. I evacuated my stomach onto the ground, my eyes watering from the pain. Fortunately, in that moment, my survival instincts kicked in. I knew I had to do something or I would die. I couldn't keep going like this. I had to fight back. Knowing there was really only one thing I could do, I closed my eyes and reached behind me with my right hand.
Fried fish?
My fingers touched around with great effort, I pulled it free from my belt, my head still bouncing along the ground. Twisting my body around, I brought the axe down on its leg with as much force as I could muster. The blade sank into the flesh, but it didn't feel anywhere close to cutting through. Cursing in the dark, I frantically began hacking away at Margaret's leg, the beast emitting a series of shrill shrieks as I did so. Green ooze that shone in the dark began spurting out of the appendage, coating my arm in sticky substance. Feeling as if I was about to pass out, I pulled the axe back and brought it down as hard as I possibly could on the already weakened leg. This time the blade cut clean through, severing Margaret's leg. This finally brought the horror ride to an end. My body coming to rest on the floor. Die! Emily's voice came from my left, filling me with some form of hope that I might survive despite the invasion. Emily! I called back, my voice catching in my throat and triggering another coughing fit. I'm coming! As I slowly sat up, pain shooting through my mangled leg, I saw Emily clutching a makeshift torch in the distance. As Emily made her way towards me, I looked down and realized two things. One, my entire body was glowing in the dark because the green blood that had covered me. And two, there was still part of the insect leg protruding above my knee. The sight of the furry stump sticking out from my now glowing green skin was almost enough to actually make me pass out. Oh my god. Light flooded my vision, so intense I had to briefly shield my unadjusted eyes. When my vision came back, I saw Emily leaning over me, her eyes racing side to side as she took my injuries. Can you stand? Emily stuttered as the beast roared somewhere to our right. My whole body felt like it had been T-boned by a semi, but I tried to climb out with Emily's assistance. As soon as I put pressure on my right leg, it gave out from under me and I collapsed onto the ground. At this point, I knew I was dead weight. I couldn't walk even with Emily's support, and the green blood that covered me was a dead giveaway in the darkness. Emily, I managed to choke out as pain shot up my leg. You have to go. She looked offended by my suggestion, her eyes narrowing as she spoke. I'm not leaving you. Come on. No, look. It's not dead. Emily turned to see what I'd been looking at. She was fussing over me. Margaret was now back on her feet, water dripping from her wet fur. The flames from before were completely extinguished. It must have somehow cooled itself with the water that it had sucked up before. Emily put her arms under my shoulders in an attempt to pull me up, but I grabbed her hand with my arm to stop her. Listen, in a few seconds that thing is going to be on you, and I really don't think you want to be here when I happen. Get out that torch and fucking run. In a rare moment, Emily,
Nothing of the weight behind. Survive.
I could feel the cogs whirring in her mind as she contemplated what I had just said. But this was no time for calculation. I could hear the unpleasant sounds of Margaret getting ever closer. I couldn't risk losing her too. Go! I barked, desperate to avoid Emily meeting my own fate. A single tear began to roll down her cheeks as she reluctantly lowered the head to the ground. I'm sorry, Ty.
Oh, shit.
Emily was cut off by another sound coming from Margaret, right, and I knew Margaret was almost upon us. Emily's eyes widened as she snapped her neck to the source of the sound. She looked back to me with tears in her eyes before turning away, sprinting off into the darkness.
There is no other choice.
I wondered if that would be the last time I'd ever see her. I never get to tell her. But that didn't matter right now. Hey! I'm over here! I called out, my breath crystallizing into small puffs of air. You want some? Come get some! I started trying to sound I often read about in comic books, confident in the face of unimaginable evil. The unsettling sound of the beast's legs scratching against the ground grew louder, and I could smell its foul odor drifting closer. Then the three heads of Margaret, Jeremy and Tim came into view above me. Its disgusting features lit up by the green liquid covering my body. I closed my eyes and prepared to be disintegrated into a pool of acid. But that wasn't what happened. Instead, I felt two prongs pierce through my shoulders and rip me into the air. Opening my eyes, I came face to face, or should I say, face to faces with the beast. Margaret's mouth opened and she began to lower my body, legs first, into it. I screamed, the realization that I was about to be eaten alive, almost too much to handle. I tried to squirm, to wriggle free somehow, but the ends of her mandibles were firmly lodged into my skin. I tried kicking at her face, attempting to drive the stump still lodged into my leg into her eye, but in response, she coiled her abnormally large tongue around me. Then the next thing I knew, I was falling through the air. The feeling of weightlessness enveloped me, and I plunged toward the ground. The fall felt like it was going to last forever. My body suspended midair like a freeze frame during a movie. It didn't. My body bounced like a soccer ball when I smacked the ground. The impact so great I felt my shoes and socks spring off my feet. Luckily, I had landed side on and not at first or anything nasty. But the pain was like anything I'd ever felt before. I'd never been seriously hurt as a child, so never broken any bones, or a minor sprain here or there. So my first thought as I lay on the ground, tears stinging in my eyes, guilty of pain. That thought was interrupted by the madness my eyes saw when my vision began to focus. The enormous abdomen in front of me was frantically spazzing on the ground. The legs were scraping away at something that has obscured from my vision. Suddenly, the insect twisted its body towards me, and I saw what had transpired. Margaret was trying to scratch her own eye out. Her face was contorted into a panicked grimace as she stabbed at her own bulging eye, which had turned completely red and was spewing green liquid all over the place. As I crawled away, my mind turned to Annie. I wonder if she had seen everything that unfolded to me. If she looked through her eye as Margaret nearly ate me.
On my command.
The realization was like a cold slap in the face. Any move to shift our lips. If her eye was connected to Margaret's, did that mean that she was able to harm her too? Was Annie destroying what remained of her own eye? Just
Let's begin.
as I contemplated that thought, I was hit with a massive blast of light. I squinted my eyes, waiting for them to adjust as my surroundings slowly came into view. When my eyes adjusted, I realized that the light was coming from above, and I could now see the entirety of the tank. I had actually made it pretty close to the ladder for crawling in the darkness. I was only a few feet away from it. I looked up to see the security guard we bumped into earlier descending the ladder. I breathed a sigh of relief and raised my voice to call out to him, but I could only get out enough of a
Oh shit!
erupting into a coughing fit.
No.
Waves of pain coursing through my body.
No.
Fortunately, the coughing seemed to catch him
No more.
as he looked down from his position on the ladder and called out, "God damn, stay the hell where you are!" And he turned to look up at the man. "I found your friend. He's in bad shape. You said there was some sort of massive bug in here too? I don't see it. There's some woman."
Wind is rising.
I twisted my hand to scan my surroundings, now lit up by lights that had been installed on the tank walls. My eyes fell on the body of the woman lying motionless.
Oh dear. Let me get your wound.
Ah.
A slimy liquid was spilling out of her orifices. Margaret was a beast. I quickly whipped my head back to the guard. Don't go near her. I managed to get out. "Don't worry, I'm coming," he responded, making his way down the ladder.
You know who I am.
I couldn't tell if he could hear me or not. He couldn't really muster up the strength to shout. Guess I'd trigger another coughing fit.
Oh no!
So I just laid there, clutching my broken body as he climbed down to me. Finally, his feet touched the ground next to mine.
Hey, why are you
The guard's bearded
talking
face
to
loomed over me. Black beanie now covering his bald skull. He looked like a grizzled veteran, so his almost squeamish response to seeing my impaled leg caught me off guard. "Oh man, what is that?" he said, stabbing a finger at the hairy appendage protruding from my skin. "Trust me. You don't want to know," I responded. "You really don't." Emily's face came into view. Her hands clutched close to her chest. She leaned in close to me, wrapping me in a tight hug. "I'm never leaving you again."
Oh fuck!
I wanted to respond with some sappy words. I really did. But her embrace compressed my potentially broken ribs, forcing a pained groan out of my mouth. "Shit,
Oh, God.
I'm sorry,
Don't
Emily
have
said,
it, because
backing up
fuck
and looking
bullshit
at her
here.
face. I chuckled, which still hurt. Just not as much. I gave her a half smile. "Man, am I glad you came back. I didn't want to go in the first place. You had to." "Yeah, I know. That's why I got help." Our conversation was interrupted by the slightly high-pitched voice of the guard. Ma'am, are you okay?" I turned my head to see if he was speaking to Margaret,
How many?
who was now on her feet
Okay,
and slowly shambling towards him.
there you go.
Her gruesome gray body was covered with the same green blood that I was covered head to toe in, but the most striking part of her appearance was her right eye, or rather, the lack of it. There was a bloody hole leaking gray matter where her right eye used to be.
There's no harmony.
As
Okay,
Margaret's
no
movements
harmony.
became more aggressive, the guard took a step back and reached for his gun. Wait, don't shoot!" I called out to him. Despite all she had taken away from me. Despite the fact that just 10 minutes ago she tried to eat me alive.
Okay.
I wanted to get peace. I wanted to help her and fulfill Annie's wish. To set Margaret free.
Oh, yeah,
The guard shot me a stunned look. "Are you crazy?" I grimaced, attempting to get out, but the pain in my chest was too much. Fortunately, Emily wrapped her arm around me, helping me up. "I know a lot more about her than you do," I said, moving towards Margaret with Emily's support. That caught Margaret's attention. Instead of moving towards the guard, she began to shuffle in our direction. "Can you reach in my pocket?" I asked Emily, who nodded and stuck her hand inside, pulling out the photo Annie had handed me at the library. The one of Margaret's son. Emily handed me the
You
photo,
know what? I don't give a shit.
and I held it up in front of Margaret, who was now in arm's reach, away from it. Margaret.
What the fuck?
Do you remember Michael? The zombie woman paused as the name Michael left my mouth. Her one good eye twitched as it scanned the photo. He's your boy. A look of familiarity slowly spread across her face, starting from her furrowed brow
No.
and ending at her slimy lips. She whipped her arm out, and for a second I thought she was going to land a blow square on my face, but her hand curled around the photo and pulled it free. Margaret tentatively raised the photo to her eye, peering at the face of her son. My boy, she said, in a low, raspy voice that sounded nothing like the distorted screams I'd heard from her the last time I was in the tank. It was her real voice. It was the real Margaret. She pressed the photo to her chest and made eye contact with me.
What?
Thank you. As the words left her lips, her body began to slowly sink into the ground. A puddle began to form at her feet as she disintegrated. First her legs, then her torso, and lastly, her head. When she finally disappeared, two spirits shot into the air out of the puddle. I looked up in awe as they circled in the sky before shooting off in different directions, and then silence fell on the tank. It was over. Well, whatever that shit was, you two have a lot of explaining to do, the guard said. I looked at him, slowly gave him a thumbs up, and then everything went black.
Not haste.
He appeared one day in the hallway of our bedroom, without any warning or announcement, as if it had always been there. I was one who found
Nothing
it.
of the weight behind survive or be destroyed.
The darkness hadn't yet dissipated. Go out for a jog, trying hard not to disrupt my wife's soft smile as I slipped my shoes on. I got up, stretched my legs, and began creeping out of the room. And I felt it at the back of my neck. A sudden burst of cold air, nipping at the flesh of my neck, causing goosebumps to spring up on my arm. I gasped as tremors ran through my body. Fuck. Take a step back. There it was. Icy cold wind, the breath of an ice drop, being exhaled by the wooden frame of the door. Where did it come from? Is there something wrong with the
Let's
planet?
begin.
Look on the walls. No dampness in the walls anywhere. This could be. Maybe the old bones of the house had cracked with age, allowing the wind to squirm its way in.
Spirit never dies.
You'll pay for this. Let me strength.
I shook my head and walked out, thinking I'd investigate it later when my wife was up. It was a beautiful morning. One that was warm and smelling of grass. I would have enjoyed it more had I not been so focused on the cold spot that had inexplicably appeared in my bedroom. Why was it so chilly when the day itself was this
Show your
warm?
courage.
The walls pulled the air down as it wriggled into the house. The temperature difference was too stark to be explained away.
Do nothing of the weight behind
I
survive.
found myself strangely fixated on the cold
There is
spot,
no other choice.
so much so that I hadn't even realized I finished my run and made it all the way back home. I wasn't the only one affected by it. As I entered the house, wiping beads of sweat off my brow, I found my wife in our bedroom, standing near the door with a frown marring her once beautiful face. There's a cold spot here, she remarked. I know. It's weird. She cut me off. I don't like it. Get rid of it. I opened my mouth to say that I will, but she'd already turned away and marched off to our daughter's room. Breakfast was an odd affair that morning, as our daughter sat chattering away about some inane middle school gossip. My wife chewed on her cereal slowly,
Well,
deliberately.
yeah,
She wanted to take the...
uh,
Why is it there anyway? She asked, abruptly cutting off our daughter's
Feet, not hands.
I don't really know. Of course. She's fine.
No, okay.
I found it. Now you don't have to.
The wind is wrong. From above.
And walked off, leaving behind her bowl of unfinished cereal. My daughter looked at me questioningly. I told her to finish her food. I couldn't focus much on work that day. Every time the air conditioning swung my way and blasted me in the face with freezing air, my mind instantly reverted to that damn cold spot. My coworkers were concerned, said that I was too distracted. I brushed their concerns aside, but couldn't really get into my usual groove. I finally threw my hands up and got in touch with a plumber and a carpenter. Soon I'll be able to get on with my life. Do you think something's wrong with the air ducts? Asked a friend, coworker, while I watched him pour coffee into his mug, with whiffs of steam rising up hypnotically.
This battle is unavoidable. Lend me your strength.
I don't know. I mumbled. It's too cold. Colder than what should be possible. Huh, he said. Weird. I finished early that day and returned home, whistling a half-forgotten tune in the cold car. I grunted, switched the AC off about halfway into the journey. Back home, I found my wife sitting in the couch in the living room. She'd been waiting for me. Did anyone swing by today? I asked. Jaw clenched as she glared at me. Yes, she replied. And I noticed her body shivering as if she'd been exposed to low temperatures for a long time.
Every situation has changed.
Couldn't fix it. The teeth chattered. But of course they can't. I mean, how do you expect outsiders to come and tell you what to do? It's your house.
Break the wind.
Fix it yourself. It's like all the moisture had been sucked out by its saliva. Really cold. Have you been standing under? Your face whooped into a snarl. Crow's feet sharpening like claws. Someone can fix you, right? I don't want to, but sometimes I've got to remember what's wrong. My God, what? That doesn't make any sense. You don't have to stand. She groaned in frustration and got up to leave. Hey, wait! I grabbed her hand to stop her and instantly released it. It's like clutching a lump of ice. Stung the skin of my palm. What had she been doing when I was at work? She marched off to the doorway and stood there, her back facing me, her body vibrating as the cold crashed into her. I took my jacket off and ran towards the door. Stop, I said, wrapping the jacket around her. What the hell's wrong with you?
You'll pay for this.
She shrieked and violently tried to throw the jacket off. Ignoring the biting cold scraping of her flesh, I tried to push her away from the cold spot, away from this obsessive madness. She screeched, slapped, and clawed at me, but I used my brute strength to carry her away from her. Heart pounding in my chest, I backed her into a corner of the bedroom. Past the disheveled hair falling down on her face, I saw her eyes flitting around like a concerned wretch. Stop! Stop! I yelled. Fear and desperation cleared her cracked voice. Please! Stop this shit and talk to me!
Enter the storm.
I took a step back, spreading her arms out on the walls like a spider and glaring at me. Teeth gritted, nose scrunched up, veins of her neck stretched painfully. She looked at me with such utter hate it made my knees wobble. I couldn't for the life of me figure out what was happening here. It was so bizarre. None of it made any sense. Please, I whispered, stop. She screamed and ran into me, past me. She shoved me aside and ran faster than I'd ever seen her run, before coming to an abrupt halt at the doorway, shivering and whimpering.
Oh, shit.
She stood there, despite the pain, despite how weird it was. She stood there like her life depended on it. What are you doing? Exasperated as I tried to wrench her off her spot once again, she fought like a woman possessed as I heaved her onto my shoulders and carried her off to the living room before dumping her on the couch. Let me go! Let me go! She said, slapping at my hands. Let me go! I caught hold of her wrist and pulled her hands above her head, effectively restraining her. She opened her mouth and her chest started quaking as she began sobbing. Let me go! I have to go! I have to go! I have to go! I blinked and fought back tears. What's wrong? I have to go! I have to go! Why, damn it? Why? I have to! I have to! She writhed under me, using all her strength to free herself, but I held on for dear life. I had to gym daily, so often to be stronger than the average man. Believe me when I tell you, I had to use every bit of my strength to hold her down. And hold her down I did, slowly. The fight left her until she was crying and mumbling nonsense under her breath. But it looked like she calmed down and I got her some water.
There's no bone there.
The wind
She
is
explained
rising.
after gulping down a glass of lukewarm water. I feel it in my bones. Something terrible is going to happen if I don't. I tried to reason. Nothing is going to happen. It's just air. Like air that can make you sick if you stand exposed to it for too long.
Damn it, damn it.
You don't get it. There's nothing wrong here. Just a random cold spot. And we'll get it fixed, okay? Nothing to worry about. Tears open her eyes. I don't want to do it, she cried. I don't want to stand there. Please don't make me. I'm not going to force you to do anything. But I have to, she insisted. I have to.
Lending your strength.
Was she having a nervous breakdown? Was that what this was? It's okay. I hugged her and she grabbed onto me like I was alive.
There is no other choice.
I kept a close eye on her the rest of the day. Didn't let her out of sight until we had finished dinner. Tucked our daughter in bed and retired to the guest room, shutting the door behind us. There was no way we were going to sleep in that room, and thankfully,
Leave
my
it
wife
to
didn't
me.
insist on it.
I'm almost done.
Calmed down since her
Almost
outburst
done.
and was no longer fighting to stand in that doorway. We took no chances. Kept her within arm's reach. I craned my neck, looked at our bedroom once before locking the guest room door shut. Then chills ran down my spine when I noticed a faint mist in the cold spot. I shook my head, cleared of cobwebs, out.
Timely treatment.
Just a cold spot.
Stay the course.
My wife was not well. I told myself to book an appointment with a therapist the next day.
Let's
Just a
begin.
cold spot. Fell
You
asleep.
knew nothing of the way
Me on my back.
survive or be destroyed.
Her head on the chest. I woke up to an odd rhythmic thumping.
You'll pick.
I'm fine.
I sat up, saw my wife standing at the door, softly banging her head against it. I checked the time on my
Spirit
phone.
never dies.
It's past midnight. Was this also a part of her sickness? I don't know, it freaked me out to think that even her subconscious was forcing her to move towards the cold spot. I got out of bed and walked toward her to bring her back to bed. I didn't have a lot of expertise with dealing with people who sleepwalk, so I did what instinct told me to do. Placed my hand on her forehead and began gently redirecting her towards the bed. As I got her to lie down on the bed, I found her.
Never asked
I
for
strained my
so
ears
far.
to listen carefully. Silence.
I like a sandbox.
Just took my imagination
I hate
as
this.
I settled into the bed.
Sandbox!
It was morning when I woke up next. Sunlight was streaming into the windows and falling on my face. I yawned and stretched my arms and noticed I was cold. Fuck. Adrenaline flooded my body. I rolled out of bed and ran to the door. There she was. Not at the bedroom door, thankfully, but sitting listlessly on a wooden chair facing the damn thing. I could see the side of her face. It was blank, like the life had been drained out of it. I glanced at what she was looking at. It froze my heart. My clammy hands over my sides. I shook like leaves in the wind. I stumbled forward, not wanting to confirm what I feared. Knowing that I absolutely had to. I approached the door, my eyes fell upon the big, misshapen lump of ice under it. It came up to my waist. It was half as thick as a washing machine. I bent and I looked at it closely and my stomach dropped. God. A strong gust of cold wind from above me, and the irregular lump of ice wobbled. No, I reached towards it to steady it, but it was too late. The thing crashed to the ground, shattering into a dozen pieces. A small, basketball-sized chunk rolled over and stopped at my naked foot. The ice freezing my toes, but I didn't pay it any attention.
Nice.
Set in the frozen, decapitated head of my daughter. Hey there, kids, it's me, Mr. Booty Pasta, and I just wanted to tell you thank you so much for watching tonight's video. or listening to tonight's podcast on the podcast, if you're listening to that there at Spotify or Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts or wherever you could happen to listen to podcasts. Also, I just want to take a quick second to tell you guys about HorrorCon VR. HorrorCon VR is actually a horror convention that I'm putting together with a group of my friends who are YouTube horror creators and other horror creators and just sometimes VR chat creators and things like that. You can find out more at horrorconvr.com or follow us on Twitter at horror_VR. It's going to be hosted on VR chat in October, and the best part is you do not need a VR headset to be able to join and play. So check out those places, join us on Discord, and we do meetups every Saturday, which is fun. And of course, I wanted to give a big thank you to everyone who checks out patreon.com/MrCreepyPasta and supports the show, keeps the light on, gives me treats for my now 2 cats, both Hylas and Hercules. Both of them are a handful. And especially a big thank you to Haha Saha, Jordan Alexander Sanchez, Mazakine, Ken Nalendo Higuchi, Chimpinski, Nico Kao, Tristan Pelton, Stephen Van Huss, Chance Burnett, Diana Kraus, G. Weevil 3, The Red Oak Shield Fighters, Hades' Nephew, Carter Barenfang, Dr. Strawberry, Jordan Wayne Decker, Bradley Lipe, The Government Monitoring System, Ann Charon, Rumble Fox, Acid System, Mike Bullock, Rafael Rodriguez, Dan Sweet, Mad Marshtop, Prozac and Pancake Appreciation Society, Sean Mills, Brian Arce, Cryptic Nightmares, Shadow Morningstar, Somber Puppet, Brianna Wright, Someone You Love, Said the King 56, Bad Honey, S-Man, Kiri the Sloth, Patrick Schoolmeister, Thomas Bergen, Barbara Masayo, Bobby Carmen, Liam Newman, The Homeless Bird 93, Sky Harbor, Caleb Dougal, Last Blade Song, Eliminator 86, The Ginger Bros, Aaron Storm Pro, and Corey X Kenshin. A big thank you to all of you guys and everybody down there in the description. I really can't thank you guys enough for supporting the show. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And everybody who listens. Sweet dreams.
Nice.
Danny Thornton and Joe Tumberland had just finished their shift. They were heading back to Central when the radio suddenly squawked to life. Danny, who had been dozing in the cab while Joe drove through the night, yawned and rubbed the sleep from his eyes before responding to the radio's shrill beeping. Meat Wagon 2 to Central. What can we do for you, Central?
Danny, is that you?
Sure, Shirley, Danny said, wiggling his eyebrows suggestively at a grinning Joe. What can I do for you, baby?
Some kind of crap for a start.
She responded. Danny, who had been stepping out with Shirley for the last couple of months, suddenly sat up straighter, frowning at the mic. Shirley was a fun-loving girl. Hell, he had to have a sense of humor to be in this godforsaken job. And now she was all business. In fact, if Danny wasn't mistaken, there seemed to be a slight tremor in her voice. Go ahead, Shirley, he said, now frowning at Joe, who shrugged in return before turning his attention back to the road. How can we help you?
I need you to head to this address,
she said, rifling up the address from a nearby farm. Oh, come on, Shirley. Our shift ended 10 minutes ago. Send the new crew out.
You don't understand, Danny.
She shot back.
I think we have a code 623. Crew members in distress.
You're shitting me, he said, gripping the mic tighter. What the hell's going on?
I sent out John Wills and Andrew Davis,
she replied.
after receiving a call from the Cloak Farm, code 121, reanimation in progress. Apparently, the family's grandfather reanimated overnight after passing in his sleep.
Nice.
Was he locked down? Danny interrupted.
Yes, all standard lockdown procedures were in place. All family members went to bed in their own separate rooms, doors locked in case of accidental death and reanimation. I received a call at 1 a.m. after the family awoke, the reanimated body pounding on the door. They called it in and I sent out Meat Wagon 3. Civil bag and tag for incineration, but it's been over an hour now and they haven't returned to Central. I tried their radio, their cells, even rang the home address for the caller. Nothing, Danny, not a goddamn thing. I think they could be in trouble. Really do. And you guys are only a few miles out. Can you check it out for me? Please.
Sure, Danny said, without hesitation. We're on our way. What was the address again? She told them while Joe typed into the computer. He gave Danny the nod. Okay, Central, we have it. On our way.
Thank you.
She responded.
And Danny, be careful, okay?
You know me, babe. Careful's my middle name. Less than 10 minutes later, they were pulled up beside Meat Wagon 3, which sat like some kind of hunched animal in the darkened farmyard. Lights burned in the two-story farmhouse. There was a certain stillness that both men noticed as they exited their vehicle and loosened their sidearms before approaching the front of the house. They came together at the front porch, weapons raised. Danny gave Joe the nod before slowly reaching out and trying the handle. Finding it locked, he raised one large fist and rapped on the door, wincing as he defiled the silence. For a moment, there was nothing. Then came the sound of rummaging from the other side. Then the snap of a drawn lock. As the door was thrown open, both men let out a cry and jumped back, weapons raised. As a man splattered in blood staggered towards them, a broken chair leg draped on the floor behind him. For a moment he stood there, wavering, before sinking to his knees, falling heavily against the floor jamb, revealing the old man who stood directly behind him. The old party's eyes widened as he saw the two guns pointed at him. "Don't shoot!" he exclaimed, throwing his hands up in the air. "My name's Dr. Robert Shaw, and this," he said, placing his hand on the other man's blood-soaked shoulder, "is my son-in-law, Mr. David Tomlinson. Come towards me," Danny said, motioning with his gun to the old party. The other man also started to rise. "Not you. You stay right there. Joe, you keep him covered," he said, pushing the old man up against the van and checking him for weapons. He so much as blinks, you put a bullet through his face. "Got it," Joe said, drawing a bead on the blood-soaked man. "Okay," Danny said, turning the old man around to face him. "You take a seat right there on the floor, Doc," he said, motioning at the muddy floor. The old man looked at the floor with disdain and did as he was ordered, grimacing as the cold mud soaked to the knees of his trouser legs. "Okay," Danny said, addressing the blood-soaked figure. "First things first, are you bit?" For a moment the man didn't answer, before slowly shaking his head. "Right. Lose the club, slowly walk towards me." The man did as he was bid, slowly rising to his feet, staggering forward. "It's close enough," Danny barked. "Now turn around and face the door and don't move. Not so much as a fucking inch, or my partner here will blow your head off. So you got him? Good thing," Joe said, pointing his gun at the swaying man. Danny was glad to see his partner's hand was rock steady. "All right, I'm gonna go get the scanner. Everyone stay cool, everything will be cool." That said, he holstered his gun and ran to the ambulance, throwing open the door and grabbing a scanner off the side of the dashboard, quickly returning to the other man. "Okay," he said, "I'm gonna scan you now. Better hope and pray that you aren't lying to us. You know what's gonna happen if this thing turns red." The other man nodded. "All right, then," Danny said. "Let's get this done." Taking a deep breath, he took a step back, drew his weapon, resting the cold metal barrel against the other man's head. He raised the scanner and pressed the button for a moment. The thing hummed to life as it scanned the blood-soaked man and then let out an ear-piercing beep. And the display screen glowed green. Danny let out a sigh of relief, then gently laid the trembling man to the ground. "Are you hurt?" he said. "Whose blood is this, and where are the two crewmen you sent for? Is there still a reanimated in there?" The man held up a restraining hand, cutting off the flood of questions. "No," he answered. "I'm not hurt. We managed to fend it off. I mean him, my father." "Please," the other man interrupted from his kneeling position by the van. "Poor David's been through so much. Please, let me explain." He slowly climbed to his feet, his hands still raised. Danny waved him over impatiently. "All right," he said. "You lower your hands, please. For the love of God, tell me what the hell's going on here. Joe, you got that door covered." "Sure have, partner," Joe responded. "Do your thing." "All right. What's the story, Doc?" The other man ignored the question, instead kneeling down, dragging his son-in-law to his feet. "You all right, David? Truly, all right?" "Yes," the other man said, seeming to regain some of his former strength. "I'll never get used to this, Robert. Never." "Get used to what?" Danny interrupted. "Somebody better start talking sense, and real soon, or you'll both be charged with obstruction. Now, whose blood is that, and what's the situation inside?" "All right," the doctor said, turning to Danny. "For David's father, Mac, died of what was probably a massive heart attack in the night, considering the man's size. But we awoke to the sound of pounding on the bedroom door and the groaning of the hungry dead inside. We," Danny interrupted. "Who's we?" Let's get a real head count here. Sorry, the doctor responded in his cultured voice. Myself, my daughter, Marcia, and David, of course. Where's the woman? Danny asked quickly. Is she still inside? Is she bit? No, of course not, the doctor replied. Do you think us foolish? As soon as we knew what was happening, we sent her down the road to our neighbor. She was quite safe, I assure you. After that, we rang the center to come and collect poor Mac. They came post-haste, but... Here he stopped, looking down at the ground. A tremor running through his body. And? Danny encouraged. What happened? We took them to the room. They drew their weapons and they rushed in, but all went wrong. One of them slipped on the bathroom rug and then he fell and his weapon discharged and shot his friend in the guts. It all happened in a matter of seconds, you understand. And poor old Mac was upon them, tearing into them. David tried to beat him off, but to no avail. In the end, he had no choice but to retreat and lock the door. And if your men here dead by then, I'm sure you would not just lock them in and leave them to their fate. I promise you that. Jesus, Danny said. Both of them dead. I'm sorry, Edmund said. We did all we could, didn't we, Davy? The younger man nodded.
Nice.
He said nothing. His eyes cast down. How do you want to play this, Danny? Joe asked, never taking his eyes off the open doorway. Okay, Danny said, straightening his shoulders. You stay with Davy here while I go take a look at the situation with the doc. We won't be rushing into anything tonight. When I get back, we'll radio for backup depending on the situation. All right, Joe said. Watch your ass, partner. Always, Danny replied. Okay, Doc, lead the way. The house was big, almost a mini mansion. Danny tried to look everywhere at once as he followed the old party up the winding staircase and onto the second floor. The creature was supposedly secured. You could never be too careful. Danny had only been a child. The Lazarus virus had swept across the UK, killing all in its path, only to reanimate them once again, only dead. Those days were dim in his mind. Unfocused montage of screaming, running, fire and death all about him. It had been nearly 30 years ago. A new generation was born with immunity to Lazarus, and mankind had fought back with the renewed hope in its heart for the future. Now the old survivors alive, but infected with ticking time bombs, were dying, and it was Danny's job to clean up the mess. Okay, the doc said, stopping and pointing to an old-fashioned wooden door down the hall. We are here. Mac is just inside, locked behind that door. He'll be requiring this, he said, passing Danny the key. You keep hold of it till I take a look inside, Danny said. How do you expect to do that without this? He said, once again trying to hand him the key. Danny ignored the offer and stepped past the doctor, taking a small case from his overall pocket. He snapped it open, revealing the long, flexible probe attached to a small screen. Okay, Danny said, kneeling down and feeding the probe under the door. Let's see what we have here. He pressed a button, the screen showed the light.
Wait, is that a spider
revealing the
story?
closed room in front of him. For a moment, Danny didn't understand what he was seeing. The room behind the door was covered in some sort of plastic sheeting. Blood was smeared across the walls and lay in puddles on the plastic floor. Two men were chained to the walls, and Danny recognized John Willis, the ambulance driver who meet wagon.
No, fucking
Gagged and naked and placed against the wall. He turned. What the hell? But his question was cut off by a heavy pottery vase smashing across his face, sending him crashing in the darkness. He awoke sometime later to a gentle tap on his face. He groaned and tried to swat the incessant hand away from him, but the cold chains held him in place. Chains! It all came flooding back to him. The room, the blood, poor John Willis, and where the hell was his partner, Joe? The fuck are you doing? He asked the doctor, who now had retreated to the center of the room where he sat. Bob!
Enemy ahead. No harm in trying.
Please calm yourself. Just,
Will's
let's
reservation.
discuss this in a civil manner. Fuck you! Danny spat. Joe! He screamed. Joe, help me! Where are you? Too late for that, Mr. Thornton. the doctor said, straightening his cuffs. I'm afraid your friend Joe has been dead these past 2 days. He and the other gentlemen were also sent before him. Only you remain. Please, Danny, please. What do you want from me? Okay, so let me go, okay? I won't tell anyone. You'll never see me again. I promise. Cut me loose. Growling in anger, restraining me. Fucking cut me loose! And now, Mr. Thornton, let's talk about this civilized man. After all, you'll be making a great sacrifice for your country. One day your name will be in the analogs of history right beside mine. Along with the others that have made the ultimate sacrifice in the name of science. What science? Danny said, sinking down into his chains. Where are the others? What are you going to do to me? So hard to explain, the doctor said, running his fingers distractedly through his hair. So much has happened. I'll explain it to a layman such as yourself. I want you to understand. I need you to understand that your sacrifices won't be for nothing. Suddenly, his face lit up. David! He called over his shoulder. Please, bring her in. Now, you'll see. He said briskly, rubbing his hands together. Now you see all that I've accomplished. Then he could do nothing but look on in horror as a zombie was led into the room, a collar around its neck, holding the chain on David Tomlinson. Danny scrambled backward against the wall, and the thing lunged at him, arms strained. She would have grabbed him then, latched onto him, and dragged him towards her waiting mouth, except her hands had been wrapped in tape, and her mouth gagged. With a curse, David Tomlinson dragged her away, and Danny looked on in disgust as the man wrapped his arms around her thrashing body, whispering, crooning gentle words into her ear. Suddenly the zombie stopped her thrashing and stood stock still, like some child's toy. The batteries had been rudely yanked. There, the doctor said, smiling up from his chair. That's right. You must forgive Marsha. She hasn't been fed for the last few hours, so she'd say, fuck. Danny said nothing, but just sat hunched, his mouth agape. The zombie stood still, didn't try to attack the two men closest to it. Just stood there swaying, cloudy eyes, staring greedily toward him. He must have questions. So many questions. Then he managed to rip his gaze away from the gray figure and looked at the doctor as if seeing him for the first time. What have you done to him? Why is it not attacking you?
You'll pay for this.
A look of annoyance flashed across the doctor's face. We do not refer to her as it, Mr. Thornton. Her name is Marcia. She is my daughter and poor David's wife. Behind him, David let out a sigh and began to stroke the zombie's filthy blonde hair. He only stopped when a large chunk of her scalp came away in his hand. With that same melancholy sigh, he placed it back in place and began to straighten the remains of the tattered dress. Jesus, Danny said, repeating the same question. What have you done to her? Jesus has nothing to do with that.
The doctor survive or be destroyed. There is no choice.
Or perhaps
Lance ready.
did not Jesus raise the dead after all? He's the virus not called the Lazarus virus. I was there when it got loose. I was one of the chief scientists that put him down. I had been studying the effects of reanimating dead tissue. The damn thing got loose. Don't even know how it happened. The siren started to bray, the whole facility went to lockdown. I was trapped in my very own office for nearly 24 hours. The cleanup crews went over the place with a fine-tooth comb, disinfecting, spraying the place down, giving the people blood tests. Of course, back then, we didn't know how the virus hides and hibernates in some people. What we now call a slow burn. Before we knew it, the virus was everywhere, and of course the dead came with it. We held on to the facility for as long as we could, and I was close, so close to a breakthrough. Those fools threw me out, claiming that I was doing things that were unethical. Here we were. The world falling apart all around. Millions dying. We kicked up a fuss on a few lives.
Oh, what the fuck?
After that, I fled the facility before it became overrun and came south. To this remote farm. Find David.
Let's
Of
begin.
course, my daughter, Marcia. Poor Marcia,
Fuck,
I'm getting
no.
sick.
Let's not be that.
She's in pain when I arrived. The temperature so high. Burned with fever. She turned that very same day and
We've entered the storm.
we imprisoned her. Of course, they decided to kill her out of love and for suffering. I told them a different way. Told them about my
The
experiments.
way
And
to
sleep
survive
day
or
in
be
bed.
destroyed.
Dead, we're not really dead. I said. Lower brains still function. They're trapped inside themselves. Have you ever wondered, he said, turning back to face Danny, why you only kill them with a shot to the head or a massive brain trauma? Why would this kill them if they were already dead? Not my ignorant friend, he said, kneeling down in front of Danny. That's because a part of them is still
Oh,
alive.
fucking idiot.
And I found a cocktail of certain drugs.
I was about to press it, but I just...
I believe the process can be almost completely reversed.
Okay.
You're mad, Danny said, lunging forward, causing the old party to scramble away. She's dead. She's fucking dead. And how many of you murdered? How many of you fed to that thing? Please, the doctor said, hurrying away and standing back down, wiping at his brow. There's no need to be violent, Mr. Thornton. Violent? Danny spat. Violent? You're talking about feeding me to that thing. She's not fake, the doctor said, jumping back to his feet. In fact, in the last 5 years, she's come on leaps and bounds. She now recognizes herself in the mirror. She recognizes David and I. Look how docile she is around us. She can even speak a few minor words. Look, he said, ripping the gag from her mouth. Speak, he demanded.
This
Say
battle
something.
is unavoidable. Lend me your strength.
As soon as the gag was removed, the zombie lunged forward.
Be survive or be destroyed. There is no other choice.
Jerked back just in time, saving them from her gnashing teeth. Cursing his
Fuck.
legs, creeping his left and his right across the room.
I hit butt.
He changed her to the nearby wall, careful to avoid her snapping teeth. On the floor, Danny began to laugh hysterically. You done a damn fine job, Doc. Look how civilized she's been.
Stand down.
This is funny. The doctor rounded off.
Lend me your
But it's
strength.
not. Don't you understand? Can't you see? She's only attacking at the most opportune moment after the gag was removed. That shows planning.
There is no other choice.
Cognitive reasoning.
Let me tend your wounds.
Fucking mad. Danny shook his head sadly. Your own grief and denial has driven you insane. Let me go, and I'll put that poor thing out of its misery. I won't even report you straight away. Give you a little time to run. Sorry that you don't understand. Remember.
Oh my god.
Wait, Danny said, scrambling to his feet. What about me? You can't do this. You have to let me go. You can't just leave me here. He was openly weeping now.
Okay.
Let me loose. I'm sorry, the doctor said once again. But we are leaving now. He closed his door. The lights will go off and her chains will unlock automatically. He's been running experiments these last few weeks on how her senses have started to become more heightened. She should have no problem finding you in the dark. No, wait! Danny screamed.
Bugs. Bugs. Fuck
It
bugs.
was too late. The door was already closed and the lights blinked out.
No fucking bugs.
In the darkness, he heard the clank of chains as they dropped to the floor and the low groan of hunger and the sound of shuffling feet. Then, floating out of the darkness,
Trust. We've entered the storm. To guard and defend. Crush them.
I'm sorry.
Lance ablaze.
Where are you? Danny began to laugh, his mind breaking like a rotten shell at the sound of that dusty voice. And a cold hand went down on his wrist.
Time for some hardship.
He began
Fuck.
to scream.
Time for some hardship. Stand down.
Hey there, kids, it's me, Mr. Creepypasta, and I just wanted to tell you thank you so much for watching tonight's video.
The way be survive
Or listening to tonight's podcast on the podcast, if you're listening to that there at Spotify or Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts or wherever you can happen to listen to podcasts. I wanted to remind you guys also that my wife sells the Rooster Tea at Etsy.com/shop/ivory-monocle tea. She has different teas, including Creepypasta
Lance
teas,
at the
and you can
ready.
get a Mr. Creepypasta tea. If you
Not a bug.
for a gathering sticker, she also
Another
has
bug.
those. And of course, I wanted to give a big thank you to everyone who checks out patreon.com/MrCookie and supports the show, keeps the light on, gives me food for right now, 2 cats, both Hylos and Hercules. Both of them are a handful. And especially a big thank you to Haha Saha, Jordan Alexander Sanchez, Mazaki, Ken London Noguchi, Chapitsky, Nico Cow, Tristan Pelton, Stephen Van Huss, Chance Burnett, Diana Krause, G. Weevil 3, The Red Oak Shield Virus, Hades' Nephew, Carter Barenfanger, Dr. Strawberry, Jordan Wayne Decker, Granny Lisa, The Government Monitoring System, Anne Charon, Rumble Fox, Acid System, Mike Bullock, Rafael Rodriguez, Dan Sweet, Mad Marshdown, Bozak, and Pancake Appreciation Society, Sean Mills, Brian Arce, Cryptic Nightmare, Shadow Morningstar, Somber Puppet, Brianna Wright, Someone You Love, Seb the King 56, Bad Hunter, S-Man, Fury the Sloth, Patrick Schoolmeister, Thomas Berget, Barbara Masayo, Bobby Carmen, Liam Newman, The Homeless Bird 93, Sky Harbor, Caleb Dougal, Last Blade Song, Eliminator 86, The Ginger Bros, Aaron Storm Crow, and Corey X Kenshin. A big thank you to all of you guys and everybody down there in the description. I really can't thank you guys enough for supporting the show. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And everybody who listens. Sweet dreams.
1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. Do another death.
I hate it. She smiled wickedly and squeezed my thigh. One of these days, we're gonna get caught. I pleaded uselessly. Exactly. She clambered up the chain link fence, leaving a muddy footprint on the no trespassing sign. She dropped lightly on the ground on the other side and assumed a ta-da pose. Her curly black hair was dancing under a light rain. The fog crept in around us. If I got pinched with the trespassing, they'd violate my probation. Do not pass the
We've entered the storm.
My heart raced.
To guard and defend. Crush them.
I muttered, as I clumsily hoisted myself over the fence after her. I met her at about 2 weeks ago at St. Paul's at an AA meeting. Styrofoam cup in one hand and a cigarette in the other. Slanting dark eyes that just seem too much. I don't buy a lot of for something. But it was
What the fuck?
something like that. I so loved that a junkie has for that new fence. I slipped on the other side of the fence, nearly falling into the mud. Susie laughed her titted in the darkness. Susie's eyes glowed like cigarette. Soft puffs of smoke. We crept towards the massive and abandoned complex at the East River State Hospital. If this place is still operational, we'd both be right home. These high weeds, beams, we pressed quietly forward. Hundreds of windows watched our approach silently. I had an uneasy feeling that we were being watched.
Thank God.
You feel that? Like somebody's watching us. My laugh was forced. Here? She raised an eyebrow and blew a cloud of smoke into my face. You'd better give him a show then.
Oh wait, what the fuck?
Addicts never really cured. We just swapped vices. Pills for weed, dope for booze, nicotine for sex. We can't cope with the normalcy of sobriety, the boredom, the pointlessness of life. Susie's kink is risk. Risk of being caught. Fucked.
The hell?
I guess it's mine too, although she didn't know until she had the thrill of being caught in a place I wasn't supposed to be. That was a rush that never got from drugs.
Do nothing of the
We fucked in bathrooms,
or be destroyed.
libraries, museums, movie theaters. We broke into her estranged uncle's house. Fucked his kitchen. The night I met her, St. Paul's, under the angry glare of Jesus and the cross. I never said I was proud of it. This is fucked up, I said, as we walked through the massive front door and into a semi-demolished lobby. I could hear a soft squeal of a rat.
Okay.
I had serious doubts that I'd be able to get it up. Last week's sex in the temporary abandoned hallway of the hospice ward was challenging enough. But this, yes, she breathed against my neck. It sure is. She stuffed her hand down the front of my pants and gave me a playful squeeze, then danced down the graffiti-written corridor skipping over a dirty puddle. Susie!
Oh
I
shit,
hissed
not this one.
into the blackness. Oh, look, she moaned. I followed her voice and found her lying in what looked like a
Wait a
hospital
second.
bed. She was twirling a pair of panties around her
I don't want to
finger.
do cough like
No way, I said. No,
Nah,
she
I'd
said,
rather do the deer.
beckoning me with a finger.
The deer.
Susie, this is sick. I tried
I
to
would
ignore
do
the
it.
smell of rat shit.
We need a strategy.
I know. It's perfect. What's wrong with you? Oh, where to begin? She said. I shouldn't have been so surprised. My handcuffs clicked around my wrist. The other cuff affixed to the metal arm of the gurney. Handcuffs? Really? I didn't think you could be so conventional. I then noticed something.
This battle is unavoidable.
Someone. Barely perceptible in the inky blackness. A shift in the darkness. Subtle, but there. It was just outside of my vision, lurking. I could feel it watching. Susie. No longer smiling. Susie!
No.
I stood up and I cursed as the metal on metal clanked, straining my wrist against the still locked handcuff. Something's out there. Get that fucking thing off me! What the?
Lend me your
All I
strength.
could manage before I felt the
Be
hyperventilating
moving up the weight behind survive or be destroyed. There is no other choice.
I felt a terrible warmth in my bloodstream. The man that stepped out of the gloom was a white lab doctor. Thick-framed glasses set atop a bulbous nose, and she was beginning to show signs of balding. It was difficult to describe because he looked so ordinary. The sort of man is completely invisible in the crowd. I was vaguely aware that I was screaming as I fell off the bed, my handcuffed wrist bending in a way it shouldn't. The pain was dull and I was becoming very, very tired. Susie! I twisted my neck to see, fighting back the overwhelming
Moving up
tiredness.
the weight behind survive
It
or be
happened too
destroyed.
fast. I couldn't make
There
sense
is
of
no
it.
choice.
My brain was sluggish, muddy. Couldn't keep up. I was peering through murky water. Susie.
We enter the storm.
Hold on, Susie. His voice was like grinding broken glass under a boot. A droplet of saliva rolled down one worm-like lip. Much better
I
than
don't want to do that again.
this one had stamina. Much more. And then everything went dark. It was a familiar scene. I squinted against blinding light, fighting back a headache that threatened to launch me into orbit. That was all I could manage to get out. My throat was dry and hoarse. I opened an eyelid and took stock of my surroundings. Bed. In my apartment. Horribly bright sunlight poured through the gap between dirty curtains. What? I asked my empty apartment for a second. It didn't answer. It couldn't have been a dream. It was so real. Too substantial. I took note of the empty wax baggies on my nightstand. Did I cry last night?
Let's stand down.
My stomach roiled, swallowed and lurched. I dry heaved as I staggered to the bathroom, feeling the all too familiar self-hatred following a relapse. Again, I thought, as I white-knuckled the porcelain lips of the toilet. I dry heaved again and cradled my belly through my hands. That's when I felt the stupid stomach press.
Lend me your strength.
My first thought
Moving up the weight
was
behind
enough
survive
to
or be destroyed. There is no other choice.
But then I felt it again.
Lance at the ready.
I scrambled backwards, slipping on the wet tiles. My back crashed against the wall hard. I let out a squeak. The headache went to overdrive. I pressed my hands on my abdomen. Kick. Bump. What the fuck? I screamed. I pulled up my damn t-shirt and I could see a very small incision just beneath my belly button. Expertly stitched. Just beneath the stitches, amidst a few black coiled hairs, barely perceptible. I could see it.
We've entered the storm.
Soft.
To guard and defend. Crush them.
What? What the fuck? I
The weight
screamed.
behind
With a
survive
primitive
or be
desperation and fear I
There is
never
no
knew
other
existed.
choice.
I dropped my phone twice before I managed to access the contacts. I scrolled through the S's.
I'm a
I checked my texts. Deleted. Facebook. Proof. Call history. Get the idea. Gone. What? I still wasn't getting it. I pressed gingerly below my belly button, and it pressed back.
That's when it dove downward, scrambling through my guts. I felt a twist with a sharp pain in my testicles. A memory flashed. The man in the lab coat, scalpel raised, thin trail of saliva working its way down his lips. His plain face had already faded from memory. No! I dropped to my knees in agony, cradling my balls, and I ripped off my soiled underwear and examined myself in panic.
Leave it to me.
Something moving, slowly pulsating just beneath the skin. I touched it softly with a shaky finger, and it whipped back upwards. The pain was indescribable.
You knew nothing of the weight
felt it
behind
worm its way
survive or be
through
destroyed.
my testicles, my intestines, and nearly into my chest. My racing heart felt asynchronous as the thing pulsed into a different rhythm. No,
No.
in a blind fit of panic, I pulled off a dirty sock off my foot and stuffed it into my mouth. I bit down as hard as I could and plunged a finger into the incision, popping a stitch. I made it to the first knuckle, screams muffled. I'm pretty sure I felt my intestines. I felt warm blood running down my stomach as I wiggled my fingers around, trying to find whatever it is that was inside me. And between sobs, I heard banging at the door. I whimpered miserably, hugging myself, pleading whatever God would listen. Delicious, desperation, and piousness truly is Thud. Police department, open up. I pulled the wet floor as I spat the sock out of my mouth. I gave the empty baggies a wary glance. Open the door or I'm kicking it in. I don't want to break your door. Just open up. I'm coming. I stumbled at the door, knocking a lamp over in the process. Thud. His baton was poised to strike the door a third time when I opened it.
We've entered the storm.
Hi.
To guard and defend.
You knew nothing of the weight behind
back on the
survive
belt.
or be destroyed.
What's going on here?
There is no other choice.
What do you mean? I can't see my reflection in the sunglasses. Maybe worse than I thought. Stop it.
Leave it to me.
Push your mustache quivering noise. I heard you screaming when I came up the stairs. Half the tenants
No.
called 911. He peered over my shoulder, making me actually aware of the drug paraphernalia on my bedside table. You fighting with somebody? No. Just a gun. How'd that happen? I briefly considered telling the truth. Truth. Wouldn't know the truth? I briefly considered telling him the truth. Briefly. I went to the old state hospital with a girl I met 2 weeks ago. The fucker, I should say. Well, officer, funny thing is, instead of fucking me, she picked me. She handcuffed me to a bed and drugged me so that a mad scientist could implant a creature inside me. You ever see Alien? Yeah, well, it's like that, but much worse, because it can cut into your balls. And if I can chase it back down there, you will be able to see it breathing against my nutstick. The stitch. I had surgery the other day. Ouch.
Your
You
assistance
handle
is
it?
timely.
Glass in his wristwatch. It looked like you needed ambulance. Shocked his head to his lapel. County, this is 107. Send EMS to my location. Adult male, stomach ulcer. No! I insisted. I'm fine.
We've entered the storm.
I need some time
Guard
to
and
figure this
defend.
out. Anything in the apartment I need to know about?
Survive or be destroyed.
I'll still cop asking that question. No, definitely not. I'm fine, really. Okay then. Still trying to peer over my shoulder into the apartment. If you need us, you know who to call. Thanks. Shutting the door and leaning heavily against it.
You'll
Every
pay for
person
this.
has what we call a mental breaking point. It's a ledge where you can look down into madness. If you've been there, you know. I was there. The thing slowly quested its way back down, creeping around the side of my guts, probing my insides. Then I plummeted from that edge. With the frenzied panic of a cornered animal, I half crawled, half scrambled on all fours back into the bathroom. I tore the remaining stitches with my fingertips, stopping only to vomit. My breathing was labored. Small bits of phlegm, spit, and puke spattered the floor and walls. I plunged 2 fingers into the bleeding hole with a desperation I didn't know existed. I felt it. I poked that thing. My voice cracked as I tried to pinch the creature between my thumb and forefinger. It was hard, not unlike the exoskeleton of an oversized millipede, but
What?
also serpentine.
Later?
Like an eel.
Why?
It flinched from my fingers and tried to worm its way back down toward my balls, but I had it.
Barely. I felt a warmth underneath me as I pissed myself, and the creature started to slip from my blood-soaked fingers. With a scream, I plunged my entire hand into the open wound, skin ripping and tearing. I watched with a detached and perverse amusement as I buried my entire hand into my stomach up to the wrist. Oh, I'm in deep. I grabbed it in a death grip and pulled. It felt like I was trying to turn myself inside out. I pulled and tore as hard as I could. I still don't know how I managed to stay conscious. My vocal cords strained to scream, but there was no air left in my lungs. It was closer to a wet gurgle. And this grisly tug of war match went on for what felt like hours. Although in reality, it probably was just a few seconds. I was sobbing and laughing maniacally as I yanked and tugged. I felt a final pop inside me, and it broke loose. It coiled around my finger and wrist, briefly reminding me of Susie's handcuffs. And I started laughing again as it hissed at me, bearing tiny little teeth with countless little green eyes were pure to hatred and aggression. And I looked curiously at the alien creature that was wrapped under white knuckles. I was aware that it was biting and chewing on my hand. It was savage ferocity, but I didn't care. My last bit of strength, I threw that horrible creature into the toilet. It splashed around and hissed, baring its teeth at it, and I flushed. As I lay in a pool of my blood, feeling increasingly lightheaded and weak, I wondered what? Probably were.
Bugs.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh god. Please win. I want to win. Now lose.
Jesus,
Bullshit.
goddamn Christ. A familiar voice amidst familiar radio chatter. Get an ambulance to my location immediately. Traumatic injury, major bleeding, adult male.
My god.
I felt pressure in my stomach. A pair of gloved hands were stuffing gauze into me.
A little something here.
I dig a guy's word one goddamn
Fuck! Motherfucking blood!
His mustache quivered as he pulled more gauze from his little med kit, kept packing him into the gaping hole in my guts.
Stay calm.
I faded in and out. More radio chatter and more footsteps. Paramedics surrounded me.
Let's
Jesus. He gestured sluggishly towards the toilet with a bloody hand. What's that, son? The officer's eyes are sympathetic. Spraying more blood on me.
What the
I heard Velcro ripping and I felt pressure around my wrists and ankles. I could hear bits and pieces of conversation. Just talking to her. She's fine. Self-inflicted. Suicide. Wheels and feet. I was moving. Bouncing down my apartment hallway.
Survive or be destroyed. There is no other choice.
I woke up to the scene of medical hospital. But it was dark. My mind was slow. Confused. Did I overdose again? Nostalgia's the right word. It did come to mind. I turned my neck downwards. And stitchwork sealed my pallid skin. Heels clicked off linoleum getting louder. Nurse! I thought it was dry and hoarse. Nurse! A silhouette appeared in my doorway, silently considering me. Nurse, I need... Police?
This battle is unavoidable.
How does one explain that a mad scientist put an alien inside your belly? I watched the nurse pass by, behind a silhouette outside the door. Good evening, doctor, she said. Curtly as she passed. Good evening. Silhouette replied softly. His voice was strangely familiar, in an unpleasant way. Like grinding broken glass. My mind reeled. I pulled uselessly against the 4-point restraint. I was trapped in. No. I was terraces. Get away from me!
There is no other choice.
He took another step forward and pushed a pair of thick-framed glasses back atop his bulbous nose. What'd you do to me? What'd you do? What did you put inside me?
Leave it to me.
My vocal cords tightened. I felt like they were going to split. More footsteps. Ahead of me. A woman's voice purred.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
Poor man.
I'm ready for your
What drives a
bullshit.
person to do this?
I'm
She
ready.
gave the needle a little
I
flick
wanna
with her
lose this
fingers
time. No,
before she
fuck
slid it
you.
into my
I'm not
skin.
gonna lose.
Warmth spread through my
No,
body.
for bugs.
Deja vu was
The leader of the bugs.
but it comes to mind. No! please. I struggled against the sedatives coursing through my veins. The beeps and chirps soothing moments ago now created a rhythm. The nurse left the room, and I was alone with the doctor, who stood over me, tracing an icy finger up and down my stitching. She was pregnant, you know. Whew. My mind was foggy again. She was ready to lay her eggs. Little babies.
Oh, fuck me.
I remember trying to scream, but the sedatives took
ready.
control.
I'm ready,
As I opened my
asshole.
mouth,
I'm here to fuck you.
took me.
Ready.
I woke up on the third
Ready.
floor.
Fuck out of here.
The psych ward. Sort of place where you hear
Come
the
here.
locks snap if you get too close. Something to do with plastic bracelets that you can't cut off.
Yeah.
You see cops coming with empty holsters, hauling off
shield
some
the man.
lunatic that punks a nurse.
Bugs.
The residents amble around like zombies, medicated or being stupid. I've been up here for a while now. Not everyone here is crazy, but most of us are.
Motherfucking bugs.
My roommate Walter didn't borrow his cell phone, so I'll smuggle it. He
Lend
also
your
showed me doing
strength.
as far as going.
We venture to storm.
Probably guesses.
To guard and defend.
So he joked about the phone.
Nothing of the survive.
It's freedom at first glance until you thought about it.
Isn't the choice.
Who would we call? The cops? Sponsor?
I'm on guard.
Instead, I ended up on this internet forum where strangers believe the unbelievable. People who will listen to my story. I wanted to get it off my chest
You'll pay for this.
because I'm not sure how much time I have left.
Lend me your
The
strength.
life bubbling in my guts from this morning's adventure.
Nothing of the survive or be destroyed. There isn't the choice.
Bugs.
Who gets it?
Fucking bugs.
Where's the blaze?
Hey there kids, it's me, Mr. Kitty Pasta, and I just wanted to tell you thank you so much for watching tonight's video. Or listening to the Vibes podcast on your podcast if you're listening to that there at Spotify or Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts or wherever you can have it. I wanted to remind you guys also that my wife sells
Bugs.
Etsy.com/shop. Speaking of she has different teas, including
Oh,
Kitty
shit, I
Pasta
don't have
teas. You can get a Mr. Kitty Pasta tea.
This
If
battle
you
is
ask
unavoidable.
for a dabbing stick, she also has those.
No, fuck.
And of course, I wanted to give a big thank you to everyone who checks out patreon.com/MrKittyPasta and supports the show, keeps the light on, gives me treats when I milk two cats, both Hylas and Hercules. Both of them are a handful. And especially a big thank you to Haha Saha, Jordan Alexander Sanchez, Mexican, Ken Lenda Higuchi, Chabinsky, Nico Cow, Kristen Pelton, Stephen Van Huss, Chance Burnett, Diana Krabs, G. Weevil Sleeves, The Red Oak Shoe Virus, Amy Stanky, Carter Barnford, Salty Strawberry, Jordan Wayne the Decker, Rodney Leakin, The Government Monitoring System, Anne Karen, Rumble Fox, Acid System, Mike Bullock, Rafael Rodriguez, Dan Sweet, Mad Marshmallow, Prozac, and Pancake Appreciation Society, Sean Mills, Brian Arce, Cryptic Nightmare, Shadow Morningstar, Somber Puppet, Rihanna Wright, Someone You Love, Ted the King 56, Bad Hunt, S-Man, Kiri the Sloth, Patrick Schoolmeister, Thomas Bergen, Barbara Masayo, Bobby Connors, David Newman, The Homeless Bird 93, Sky Harbor, Caleb Dougal, Last Blade Song, Eliminator 86, The Ginger Bros, Aaron Storm Pro, and Corey Extension. A big thank you to all of you guys and everybody down there in the description. We can't thank you guys enough for supporting the show. Thank you. Thank you. And everybody who listens. Sweet dreams.
You'll pay for this.
Mr. Aldridge, you can come on back now. The pediatrician's assistant gave me a sympathetic smile before stepping aside to the door, allowing entry on a third length seat. There have been far too many doctors and special treatments. My girlfriend... I knew
This
my
battle
mother.
is unavoidable. Lend me your strength.
We had met a year later. I just turned 31 and Marlo was halfway through her 32nd year. She was emotionally reeling from a vicious divorce.
Let's begin.
Sifting through the sinews of Mars in my own breakup. I informed my college sweetheart that I wanted to marry her, and she informed me that
Lance at the ready.
she had been slowly moving her things out of our apartment to a new place.
We've entered the storm. To guard and defend. Crush them.
Bugs, get the fuck out of here.
That sounds awful. Marla and I became the same.
Lance the blaze.
Truth tellers, if you will. If we told each other the brutal things our blinded hearts had overlooked in order to move on,
Dude, the master
tension and
thing?
talk and overtime and
Nothing of
force.
the weight survive or be
Only a
destroyed.
matter of time.
There is no other choice.
Codependency.
Bug.
Well, things weren't bad, but I think somewhere in our heart of hearts,
Leave it to me.
we both knew.
Your
Pregnancy was welcome. Both yearned for a deeper purpose. One of the issues with Marla's divorce was that she hadn't been able to give him children. She was convinced that the reason she didn't conceive was because he wasn't the right man. As tough and guarded as I try to be, I won't deny that the idea of unconditional love wasn't bewitchingly
Nothing of the weight survive or be destroyed. There is no
Well,
other choice.
Bug.
and I love them. No matter what. However,
Bug.
This battle
when our
is
daughter Haley
unavoidable.
was born, our hearts exploded with love, pride, and beauty.
Lend me
I
your
didn't care if
strength.
Marla wasn't my first choice, or how empty our bed seemed when Haley was both in it. Haley would have a father. That's all that mattered.
Lance the blaze.
She had bright, beautiful blue eyes, and a strawberry birthmark on her little left shoulder that looked like an angel's kiss. Marla was concerned about it at first, but I wasn't worried. I thought it was the sweetest thing I'd ever seen. Haley's APGAR score
Let's
was
begin.
exceptional, but we were allowed to leave the hospital a mere 40 hours later. Marla delivered wonderfully. There wasn't a tear or rip in the entire process. Graphic, I know. Like I said earlier, I was excited to have a baby. I researched everything that I could, and this information
To guard and defend.
we put her in a car seat with a tie-dye cover,
I'm on guard.
and not just pinks or blues for our little girl.
Leave it to me.
Our little miss deserves all the colors in the
Nothing
rainbow.
of the weight survive or be destroyed.
First 10 days
There is
has
no
been
other choice.
almost.
Bug.
Leave it to me.
Then
No.
Haley
Oh,
began
shit.
injecting Marla's breast milk.
No.
The baby that slept through the night the week before was now up every hour with inconsolable anguish. We tried everything. With feeding her regular
no.
formula, soy formula. We drove her in the car, burped her, changed her, ignored her to cry it out. Sleeping in shifts wasn't possible with such a small apartment, which is how I figured out driving her in the car was useless.
Nothing of the weight survive or be destroyed.
I was giving her a bath
There is
one
no
morning,
choice.
and I noticed something.
This battle is
No.
unavoidable.
Lance the
Marla,
blaze.
come look
Bug.
at
I have my perspiration on.
fearing that I dropped our daughter. Feigned
you.
shock in the sense
Fucking bug.
not the issue.
Lance at the ready.
Hand out to touch me on the shoulder, confirming my suspicion. The doctor did say it would be only temporary, she said dismissively, waving the worry away with a flick of the wrist.
Oh, there's two of
The
them.
next couple of weeks would show that I was right to worry.
Oh, there.
Haley continued to reject the majority of her food, and when she wasn't crying inconsolably, the cats were staring into space. She didn't move.
Oh, there's so many bugs. Fuck bugs, man.
Lend me your
By the
strength.
time her next doctor appointment came,
Let's
Marla
begin.
and I had an entire list of concerns for the doctor. Our precious baby girl was labeled as failure to thrive
To
at
guard
her
and
first
defend.
month check-in.
Crush them.
Soon after her skin broke out.
Double kill.
on her
Double
To
kill.
top that all off, I was beginning to suspect
Time to show you what
Ready.
I knew
Double.
we had a rap problem. All sorts of sound inside the walls. If I didn't know any better, I'd say that something large was in
Hate
there.
those bugs.
I'm on
Bugs
guard.
as fuck.
There was skittering, pounding, and growling and hits. The majority of the activity was at night. You may not even have noticed it if we weren't up every hour with the baby. Marla got a promotion at work, brought our family a lot more money. It also brought her a lot more responsibility. The pay increase allowed me to be home full-time with Haley. I was able to take her to all the doctor's appointments and travel to see specialists.
There is no
Not that
other
it
choice.
helps. The only even remotely close diagnosis for a baby with this condition was drug withdrawal. Marla had been drug tested throughout her pregnancy, birth, and before her new job. She'd passed all with flying colors. Marla didn't even take so much as Tylenol.
No! No! I hate you. God
The
damn
emotional
it.
pain, worry, and stress weighed heavily on both.
Shit.
Instantaneous, underpaid care and problems rest upon two long
I was Gabby.
Let me pin your wound. Finally!
Dude, that's a lot of fucking damage. Holy shit. Oh, fuck.
This battle is unavoidable.
Ah!
Time
He's
for
This fucking. I hate those bugs. Those fucking bugs.
smells of disinfectant. His eyes.
Ah, please,
We've
please,
entered
please.
the storm.
Boom.
To guard
Marla and I both have
Nothing of the weight
At least a bunch of tiny bugs.
There is no other choice.
For us, we didn't have the luxury of time to make
I'm a
assumptions.
torture bug.
But don't think there weren't
Dead.
times where I didn't peck at my mind like a vulture on a
Fuck me.
carcass. Each intrusive thought rotted my soul, little bits at a time.
Oh god.
Lance
I don't trust those bugs.
Brings us
ablaze.
in the doctor's office with Haley staring at alphabet choo-choo train paper balls. Marla had an early shift this morning and hopefully will be waiting for us by the time we get home. The doorknob squeaks in protest as the doctor enters the room. By this point, I have Haley down to just a clean diaper. I'm ready to get it over with.
I have one more.
Well,
And baby suspect.
diagnostic.
Ah.
There's anything wrong with this old lady. She's still in an alarmingly low percentile for her age and weight. But forget that. Your face goes stern.
What? No way. Fuck.
If you don't mind, I'd like to send someone for a home visit. Whoa, I started. She holds her hand up defensively. I know what you're thinking. They won't be there to judge or in any official capacity. I just want to see if Haley's health issues are biological or environmental. We had one patient last year that was 13 months old. She broke out in hives and breathing troubles every time her mother took her outside. After a home visit, we were able to determine that she was allergic to the jasmine bushes throughout the yard.
Timely treatment.
Anything
Do your works.
They came to the house a few days later, and luckily, nothing major was found. The only thing they did find was a minute amount of mold
Do
in
your work.
the lower corner of her
Do-
nursery, along with a molding of the wall. It was definitely a health hazard, but still, it didn't explain her digestive and skin issues. Her respiration and breathing were fine. Those were one of the few areas where Haley excelled. After they left, I decided to inspect the area. It seemed like an easy enough fix, just
Over now.
molding.
Get the fuck out of here, fuck.
I pulled off the molding, which wasn't even attached properly, revealing that the wall behind it had been knocked loose.
Yeah.
The state of the wall
Yeah.
was so bad,
I did it.
my fingers slipped
Fuck
right through
yeah.
his
Let's
eye.
go.
The gypsum crumbling like mud in my hands. The earth and the toxic smell made my stomach retch and my head spin. As I removed my hand, I saw the partial part of a foot peeking out.
Oh. What a great idea. I like violence.
The police arrived almost immediately.
God damn it.
I met them outside,
God damn. I hate
holding my daughter
that.
in
I
my chest
did it.
tightly.
Fuck yeah. Let's go.
Marla pulled into the driveway, stunned to see two cop cars with sirens blaring, parked on the curb by the mailbox. I grabbed her with my free arm as she tried to run into the house. After she saw the baby was safe in my arms, she relaxed enough for me to tell her what was going on. 3 of the 4 police officers on scene emerged from our once safe and quiet home. We were utterly stunned at what they found. A man and a woman, so filthy it was almost impossible to tell their age or distinctive features. Whatever teeth they had in their better years had been smoked away long ago. The man's face had been covered with scabs, some healed, some kept open by years of habit and miscare. His companion didn't fare much better. Their eyes were jet black orbs. They twitched and spasmed with jitters of addiction as police led them through our yard. The fourth officer stepped slowly through the doorway. He was struggling to blanket an infant child. I pulled Haley away from the chest to
my
look at her.
suffering has been told.
Almost not able to believe what I was seeing.
Fuck.
The officer had bundled the baby by now. She looked at me. She was a gorgeous baby. One with blue eyes. A strawberry birthmark on her little left shoulder. I'm terrified and I have no idea what to do. I don't know when the switch took place and I have no idea what to do next. The police took the baby, our baby, with them to get her checked out by a medical team. We're doing all that we can to get her back to our care. But until then, the child we do have is a mystery to me. Marla's detached from both of us completely. Haley's health seems to be getting better, but her eyes are getting darker. Every day, they're coffee bean brown now, almost black. There's definitely something wrong with this baby. Hey there kids, it's me, Mr. Creepypasta, and I just wanted to tell you thank you so much for watching tonight's video. Or listening to tonight's podcast on the podcast if you're listening to that there at Spotify or Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts or wherever you can happen to listen to podcasts. I also want to tell you guys, if you look in the description, there's a lot of really cool things that you can always see down there, including
how many hours is
it?
it?
2 creepypasta books
2 hours.
Fuck. Available now on Amazon. Check those out.
2 hours.
The Creepypasta Collection Volume 1 and Volume 2.
Okay.
Great for people that love horror or creepypastas. Listen to these podcasts. And of course, I want to give a big thank you to everyone who checks out patreon.com/Mr. Creepypasta and supports the show, keeps the light on, gives me treats for my now 2 cats, both Hylas and Hercules. Both of them are a handful. And especially a big thank you to Haha Saha, Jordan Alexander Sanchez, Mazakine, Ken Lenda Higuchi, Chabinsky, Nico Cow, Tristan Pelton, Stephen Van Huss, Chance Burnett, Diana Kraus, G. Weevil 3, The Red Oak Shield Virus, Hades' Nephew, Carter Barenfanger, Dr. Strawberry, Jordan Wayne Deckard, Bradley Lipe, The Government Monitoring System, Ann Charon, Rumble Fox, Acid System, Mike Bullock, Rafael Rodriguez, Dan Sweet, Mad Marstomp, Prozac, and Pancake Appreciation Society, Sean Mills, Brian Arce, Cryptic Nightmares, Shadow Morningstar, Somber Puppet, Brianna Wright, Someone You Love, Said the King 56, Bad Honey, S-Man, Kiri the Sloth, Patrick Schoolmeister, Thomas Bergen, Barbara Masayo, Bobby Carmen, Liam Newman, The Homeless Bird 93, Sky Harbor, Caleb Dougal, Last Blade Song, Eliminator 86, The Ginger Bros, Aaron Storm Crow, and Corey X Kenshin. A big thank you to all of you guys and everybody down there in the description. I really can't thank you guys enough for supporting the show.
I want to go have
Thank you. And everybody who listens. Sweet dreams.
Okay. Thompson for her.
Today's story will take us back to 2018.
Finally.
We had our international meeting, which is taking place every 5 years. Now, by now, I was used with all the weird stuff going on inside of our temple, and of course, outside of it, where the secrets of the world lay dormant for normal people, but not for us. Not for the Freemasons. Our meeting 2 years ago took place in a very beautiful hotel in Prague, in Czech Republic. This is one of those that are filled with history, where the walls and chandeliers have seen extravagant parties taking place, and people in really expensive clothing attending and drinking the finest and the rarest of drinks. I've met a lot of powerful Freemasons at the banquet, people very well known in the world, some of them running multi-million-dollar companies. I have learned a lot of things they do research on, things I can't imagine existed. Of course, I was left in awe with the topics of certain discussion at that party. I was accompanied by my mentor, the professor, who decided in 2014, as you all know, to show me the wonders of the world. Too bad that we have different views on what that means. Usually at banquets like these, nothing out of the ordinary really happens. It's mainly just a bunch of people in black suits talking about various scientific topics, improvements in certain industries, or the evolution of technology, those that are coming in the coming years. But at the end of the party, my mentor took me outside to the hotel to have a talk. Son, let's go out for a bit. Something I need to tell you. Of course, Professor. So on tomorrow at midnight, there's a
What
place
day
where
is
we'll
it,
go
actually?
from our lodge. It's just the two of us and the master.
Sunday.
There's some very
motherfucker.
powerful and influential people at this meeting.
Sunday. I'll do it
What is it this
tomorrow.
time,
I don't
Professor?
care.
Vampires?
That's
Czech
fine.
monsters? The dark god of Czech beer? What? Very funny. He said, no. We will have this meeting in a church 200 kilometers from Prague, in the village of Lukova. As I understand, from one of our brothers that flew in from the United Kingdom, this church is a bit different from the rest of the churches in this country. Why, I do not know. I guess we'll see tomorrow night what's going to happen. Okay, Professor. I understand. I won't ask any more questions. Sometimes I like to inquire a lot about things because I'm a very curious person, as you know. Be careful, son. Curiosity killed the cat. Yeah, but satisfaction brought it back, Professor. The party ended, and we went to sleep. We woke up the next day and went for a walk in the beautiful city of Prague. By the way, reader, I have to tell you that the Czech have, without a single shade of doubt, the best beer in Europe. We went to see the St. Vitus Cathedral, the Charles Bridge, the astronomical clock, the Kingsky Palace, the Prague Castle, and the Old Town Square. These were the wonders of the world for me. Well, of course, we got to see the hidden parts of each and every location. Parts of the public was not allowed to see, because, of course, that's how things are supposed to be, in the opinion of the Freemasons. Then we went back to the hotel, changed into our usual black suits, black tie, took our aprons and gloves, and we went outside to the hotel at about 9 p.m. to meet our driver who would take us to the church. We got there around 11:30 p.m. That left us.
My fucking boys, man. Fucking bugs. Fuck bugs. Where's my... my neck. Ugh. Dude, Jesus Christ, man. Oh, my neck. My neck. Okay, this is bullshit, man. Okay.
It's getting late. Where to now?
Thanks for waiting. I checked all of the footage we have of the open area. I say all. A lot of it was lost.
Are the corrupted parts recoverable? Can we use the same methods again?
For some of them, maybe. But I can't guarantee anything. I'll do my best, of course. It'll take more time. I can't hand them over just now.
Thank you. Did you find anything in the remaining footage worth paying attention to?
Only that someone left the area through that exit around 2 hours after Locha's appearance here. Locha's nowhere to be seen, though. Uh-huh. Isn't this a scene from the Angler mystery? Shush! You're being annoying! I'm not kidding! This is straight out of the book! Now that you mention it...
I'm not sure I follow.
The Angler's origin story, of course. He's a healer from the Alchemy Commission who gets on the wrong side of a mysterious organization called the Tea Society. 2 agents in dark clothing wait for him to be alone and then poison him. The drug has the same de-aging effect as the Vidyadhara's hatching rebirth. The Angler gets younger and turns back into a child. From there on out, the Angler pursues the Tea Society while solving all kinds of strange cases. It wouldn't. In the book, the drug only de-ages the body. It can't repair damage to the soul. In other words, it's like molting, not a true rebirth.
Hatching rebirths are specific to the Vidyadhara. Can humans also experience de-aging?
It's just a novel. Who knows if something like that could happen in reality? I thought of it as soon as I saw this footage, though.
Sufang, the author, was a medical assistant in the Alchemy Commission. The medical principles of the novel are strictly grounded in reality.
True. If someone from the Alchemy Commission was suggesting it could be done, then there's always a possibility.
So, March, what you mean is, the two people in dark clothing are Tea Society agents, and the child is a de-aged Laocha?
What if a crazy angler mystery fan decided to commit a copycat crime? Luocha gets turned into a child, then follows a mysterious duo in black. Oh, the plot thickens. This could be a kidnapping!
The child in the footage has black hair. Laocha's hair is blonde.
Maybe he dyed his hair.
Hold your horses, everyone. I recognize this child now. That's Yinshu, the young shopkeeper at Spare Time Bookshop.
Too bad, March. No de-aging, no angler.
Detective's initial conjectures are bound to be wrong. Totally expected.
The Psycranes weren't able to get a clear look at the two people in dark clothing. Let's ask Inshu. Maybe she saw something.
I'll keep trying to recover the lost footage. I'll contact you if there's a breakthrough.
All right, let's go! Time to interview the witness.
Oh, what the fuck? Ah! There's no way I can use my prime team. It's impossible.
Drop by the Realm Keeping Commission if you need help.
I don't see the shopkeeper. Let's look for her in the area.
Business hours aren't over yet. She should be nearby. You two go ahead. I'll wait here in case she comes back.
Okay, let's go.
You two go ahead. I'll wait here. The Xianzhou has some interesting literature. I'd like to get better acquainted.
We'll be back soon. Don't get too comfortable. Hey, mister. Are you manning the counter for the young shopkeeper of Spare Time Bookshop?
Huh? Young shopkeeper? You mean Yingshu? Yeah, I am. Something wrong?
Can you please tell us where she is?
Why should I?
Because we're asking nicely. What's with the attitude?
I can tell you. If you pay me 500 strails.
Pay you? What is this? You want paying for a simple favor?
Come on. No one ever tell you that information and intelligence are the most valuable commodities?
This guy doesn't seem like the negotiable type. What should we do? In your dreams. This is Genius Detective March 7th's case. I should be the one paying.
Yeah, same difference. Pay up.
If you lie to us, we'll be back.
I'm not that kind of person. Come on. Yinshu said she had a voucher for her food stall over in Exalting Sanctum. She wanted to use it before it expired. You know, she's not been gone long. Probably finishing up her food right now.
500 strails! 500! My purse is crying! Come on, let's go.
The hell happened here? Okay.
Are you Yinshu? The shopkeeper at Spare Time Bookshop? There's something we want to talk to you about.
Yeah, that's me. Can I help you?
You're heading back to the store, right? Let's walk and talk. I'll tell you all about it on the way.
Oh, okay. Let's go. That footage, I remember that day. After I closed up the store, I walked around for a while. I was looking for a place to read. I found that empty area. It seemed like a good reading spot at first, but then I noticed two people dressed in dark clothing, and a blonde outworlder hanging around. Something didn't feel right. So I left. Those two people left the same way I did.
So you just happened to be going the same way. Did you see what the Outworlder was doing?
Sorry. I was only trying to find a place to read. I didn't pay much attention to him. Or the two in dark clothing. All I remember is the two people in dark clothing... they smell pretty bad. I guess that's not much of a clue. Sorry I can't give you any useful information.
On the contrary, any information you can give is valuable. Thank you very much. Still, according to the Psycrane recordings, Walcha's final stop before heading towards the open area was your store.
My store? Spare Time Bookshop? You're sure he came to... Oh, that's right. I remember now, he did pay a visit. Oh, how could I forget? He came in, looked at a few titles, and then handed one to me. An old paperback. Everything seemed normal, but after paying for it, he immediately tore off the title page. I was shocked, but he was grinning ear to ear, so I didn't dare ask him about it. After that, he just left the book on the counter and went on his way. I can't believe I'd forget something like that. I guess the Ambrosial Arbor's resurrection the day after pushed everything else to the back of my mind.
So, what was the book?
The Angler Mystery. I was wondering what to do about it. I can't sell a book without a title page. But since you asked about it, here, you can have it.
Mr. Yang's instinct was right all along. Locha is a villain. How could he do this? Tearing up a book as well written as the Angler Mystery. Unacceptable.
Really?
If I knew the answer to that, wouldn't that make me as evil as him?
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. We're forgetting that the Realm Keeping Commission was initially investigating whether someone brought a dangerous object onto the Luofu. Dahao and the others are probably not aware of what that dangerous object might be, but we know for a fact that it's the Stellaron. I think that by removing the page, Luocha may have provided us with a key piece of the puzzle.
I don't understand. What does tearing out a page have to do with the Stellaron? Are you following Mr. Yang?
Exactly. I think Luocha may have friends on the Luofu, and they're using the title page to communicate.
That makes him even worse! How dare he use a book that praises justice for his evil plans?
I'm afraid evil plans are still within the realm of speculation at this stage. We have no way of knowing exactly what he did because the Psycrane data was lost.
So, is this a dead end?
Yeah.
more like it. New clues always turn up in the nick of time.
Yeah, bugs! Bugs! Fuck bugs. Fuck bugs. My fuck bugs here.
Drop. So, we now know what time Luocha left the open area. Nice! You found footage of him leaving? Yes. According to the Psycrane recordings, he left the area 2 hours after he entered. Strange. Why spend 2 hours in such a confined area? He must have been up to something. I'm gonna stop you right there. Refined wardrobe, elegant bearing. He may be a villain, but he doesn't look like someone who'd give up on finding a bathroom, even in an emergency. It's a shame no Psycranes are installed in that area. We still have no idea what he was up to. This Luocha is getting more suspicious by the minute. Psst. I know Mr. Yang never wears his heart on his sleeve, but do you get the feeling he's a little restless?
What?
Don't worry about me. It's just my mind keeps wandering back to those other Luochas I mentioned. Not the greatest memories.
How does he always hear us? Well, I'm afraid I have some other business to attend to. Let me know if you need anything. You know how to reach me.
Oh.
Thanks for the help, Miss Qingyan.
So, what did Luocha get up to during those missing 2 hours?
I think it's high time Detective March took the gloves off.
Oh? And what do you have in mind, Detective? Fieldwork?
That won't be necessary, Mr. Yang. As the angler once said, a true detective operates as effectively from their armchair as from the scene of the crime. I'll quote the angler again. The field officer is a diligent specimen, yet they lack the detective's instinct to deduce facts from evidence.
Well, seeing as you're so confident, let's give your idea a try.
Yay! Mr. Yang is the best! Ready? I'm gonna start. Sure. Gives me time to make a few more adjustments.
Wait a second. Oh, can't find it.
Ready? I'm gonna start my reconstruction. Okay, here we go. Explaining a theory in front of everyone is more nerve-wracking than I expected.
Okay. Ah! No. Fuck. Alright, fine. I have mine. Okay. What if I like this?
Right. I'll be using the angler's deductive method. Reconstruct what happened from the bad guy's perspective.
And now I'm Luocha.
Quit messing around. I'm thinking. Oh, almost forgot about that title page. He took it with him, so it must have had some significance. Next up, I need to have a look at that map, Mr. Yang. He must have gone through that gate up ahead. No way he would have stayed put in such a small area for 2 hours.
But Miss Jingyan mentioned that gate is a military asset. It's locked all year round.
You think that would stop the likes of Luocha? What kind of Stellaron smuggler would he be if he couldn't get past a door?
You think a lock like this can stop a girl like me?
Fine, I'll be me. You guys will have to imagine his lines instead.
Such a rudimentary lock. Easy pickings.
Even if Luocha was able to unlock the door, what was his goal?
His villain friends must have been waiting on the other side to buy the Stellaron. He went to meet them.
The hell? I'm an idiot. Fuck. Okay.
Now that I think about it, something's not right. Why would they rendezvous at a military airfield?
Because, well, we're too law-abiding to understand bad guy logic.
Hiding in plain sight, perhaps. Hold on. This would have been too quick a route.
And what's wrong with a quick route?
What's wrong with the quick route, Mr. Yang?
We're trying to uncover what Luocha did during those 2 hours. But even if he repeated this route 20 times, it wouldn't have taken him that long.
True. He must have had a tougher journey than I imagined. Come on, let's start over.
You look like a tasty morsel. Those who dare to enter here must face a delicious fate.
What?
Ha! Your eyes are bigger than your stomach, foul villain. Have at you!
Why is the monster talking now?
You know, just a little dramatic effect.
It doesn't talk. What the fuck?
You chose the wrong enemy.
There's always a weakness. Lend me your strength. It's time.
Let's begin.
Hiya!
The fuck? I didn't notice this.
You chose the wrong enemy. Receive divinity.
Leave it to me.
Eternal sleep is not the dead return.
You know nothing of the weight. Survive or be destroyed. There is no other choice.
Let's wait and see. Repay.
Let's begin.
You'll pay for this. Lend me your strength.
You know nothing of the weight. Survive or be destroyed. There is no other choice.
I'm on guard.
What are all these enemies doing on the Luofu?
Because...
The fuck?
March, you don't have to add in combat scenes while you're figuring out where to take the story. We can wait. Monster layers in black market spaces, I doubt the Lawfu has any of that. At least I doubt things of that nature existed before the Ambrosial Arbor's resurrection.
Is it really so far-fetched? We're already assuming that Luocha came here to sell the Stellaron to a bunch of cutthroats. May as well throw in some monsters here and there. It's more fun this way? Anyway, it's not like we're gonna be able to conjure up exactly what Luocha ran into. Why not use our own interpretation to bridge the gap?
I suppose that makes some kind of sense. I try to go with the flow.
I didn't expect this place to be so treacherous. I'll need to be on my guard going forward. I wonder, just who is the buyer interested in the Stellaron? The buyer is waiting there. Time to head over.
Plausible. Looking at the map, this place is well hidden.
Finally! Mr. Yang approves Detective March's theory.
Let's see where this leads first. Stop right there. State your business.
No, that's Puar, the Tea Society's gatekeeper.
Isn't Puar a type of tea?
That's right! He's a member of the Tea Society, so naturally he chose a type of tea as his alias.
What?
Hey, I'm talking to you. What's your business here? Can you tell him to be less aggressive?
Oh, sure.
Excuse me, sir. May I ask whether you're here on business, or... Never mind.
I have a delivery for your boss. I need to give it to him in person. If you could let him know I'm here.
Delivery? Ah, yes, the delivery. The boss is waiting for you. I'm afraid I'll need to see some ID first.
I wonder if Luocha has something prepared for this moment.
Here, this is all I have. 96,720,000 credits. Take it and bring me to your boss.
You know how evildoers can be. Sometimes they have a higher purpose than just money. It's only natural he'd try everything to achieve that purpose.
No can do. If the boss found out that I took a bribe, I'd be in big trouble.
Seems bribing isn't an option.
When it comes to minor details, March's logic is actually pretty good.
How is this minor? It's an important link in my deduction.
You see, I'm selling this Stellaron to bring food to my dear family, or we'll all have to starve tonight. So, be a good chap and do me a favor, will you?
He, had no choice? Times are tough.
I can't do that. Why bother making rules if everyone can just ask for a favor?
Looks like this isn't gonna work.
Huh. Didn't take Puar for a man of rules.
Don't forget, he's modeled after you, Mr. Yang.
That's the code. So you're the one. Wait here a moment. I'll call the boss right away.
Take your time.
Puar takes the page and goes to find the boss. Before long, Luocha sees an imposing figure walking towards him.
Boss, this is the one. He brought the delivery.
I'll be the judge of that.
I couldn't think of anyone else to be Mr. Yang's boss.
This is our boss, Startaro Bubble. Let's see this delivery and make it snappy.
Jesus Christ.
So what? This is the Tea Society, remember?
Not before I see the money. I'm sure you understand the rules of such a transaction.
Save it. Show us the goods first.
Easy now. The item in question is extremely dangerous. It's understandable that our friend here wants to take extra precautions.
I'm not sure Pom Pom is the best casting choice for a gang boss.
It kind of works, right?
Puar, give him the money. Happy now? Ready to hand it over?
Be careful. Dangerous is an understatement with this item. I'll take my leave.
Yes, you will. Permanently. Puar, get rid of him.
Oh, this was all going so swimmingly.
Selling a dangerous item to me makes you my accomplice. And I've got too many of those. To keep our little secret safe, I'm afraid I need to take special measures.
When it comes to minor details, March can be very logical. As for the rest of the story... Speaking of which, when did I turn into an automaton?
That's Puar's little secret. He transforms into an automaton in dire situations.
Okay.
Huh. And there I was, thinking you gangsters still had some decorum. Don't get complacent.
We've entered the storm.
To guard and defend. Crush them. Lance ablaze. Lance forward.
You'll pay for this.
Nothing major.
I'm on guard.
Let's begin. You know nothing of the weight behind. Survive or be destroyed. There is no other choice.
You chose the wrong enemy. The dead return!
This battle is unavoidable.
Leave it to me.
I'll see you off. Receive divinity.
Your assistance is timely.
Lance ablaze. Lance forward.
Let's begin.
We've entered the storm.
To guard and defend. Crush them.
You know nothing of the weight. Survive or be destroyed. There is no other choice.
You'll pay for this.
Leave it to me.
You chose the wrong enemy. Receive divinity.
Your assistance is timely.
Eternal sleep is not the dead return!
Lance at the ready. Lend me your strength. Lance ablaze! Lance forward!
Bloom. Timely treatment. Do nothing of the weight beyond. Survive or be destroyed. There is no other choice.
Darn it! This isn't over!
Fights like these don't go unnoticed in Exalting Sanctum. Cloud Knights could show up at any minute. Better get going.
And so Luocha has to make a break for it. But where to? Let me have a look at the map. Aha! Gotcha!
There's no idea.
Receive divinity. Eternal sleep is not the dead return.
There's always a weakness. Lend me your strength.
Do nothing of the weight beyond. Survive or be destroyed. There is no other choice.
Let's wait and see. Repay.
We've entered the storm. To guard and defend. Crush them.
That won't stop me. Leave it to me.
There's always a weakness. Lance at the ready.
I'll see you off.
I'm on guard.
Halt! Who goes there?
Uh-oh. His only escape is...
Climb aboard, Luocha. Time to get out of here.
So Luocha hopped on a star skiff and fled with the help of his accomplice. And that, ladies and gents, is the truth behind Luocha's disappearance.
So, who was piloting the star skiff?
I'm not sure either. The pilot didn't show themselves, so let's just assume it was her. Too many faces, too small a budget. Maybe next time.
March, as much as I enjoyed your deduction, I do have a few questions. For example, if Luocha took flight from the dock, how could he appear in side crane footage 2 hours later? Also, the dock is a military installation. The Cloud Knights would be on the scene at the slightest disturbance. How did so many monsters show up without warning? Last but not least, even if Luocha did encounter all of the troubles you described, it wouldn't have taken him 2 hours to escape.
You're right, Mr. Yang. I guess I can't compete with the angler just yet. You know what? Time for some field work. Maybe the answers to our questions are waiting for us at the scene.
That might be the best approach. Let's go.
Household registration.
Drop by the Realm Keeping Commission if you need help.
Excuse me, officer. We're looking for someone. Can you help us?
He's got blonde hair, and judging by the way he's dressed, I'd say he was an outworlder.
A traveler with blonde hair? Could it be? May I ask why you're looking for him?
He saved our life.
Since when did we start sharing a life?
Backen, we're not rehearsing.
Excuse me, gentlemen. Would this blonde-haired, life-saving outworlder bear any resemblance to our suspect here?
Oh, that's him!
Mr. Locha, he rescued both of us.
Can I ask when this rescue occurred?
It was the day before the ambrosial arbor came back to life.
We were planning to thank him properly, but in the aftermath of the arbor incident, we never had the time.
Are you two... the people in dark clothing? What's with the wardrobe change?
Dark clothing? Ah, I know what you're talking about. What a pair of clowns we are. Dark clothing.
We fell into a ditch.
Wait, what?
There we were, looking for a spot to practice our new routine. We found a place, eventually. A little dilapidated, but nice and quiet. Shame about the giant ditch.
I lost my footing and slipped right in. My associate here, Forth, yelled after me, "Don't panic! Forth's got your back!" 2 seconds later, he landed on my back.
Unfortunately, the ditch was connected to a sewer outlet. We were covered head to toe in... Anyway, I assume that's why you thought we had dark clothing on. A dignified story, I'm sure you'll agree.
No wonder Yinshu said she had to cover her nose.
Anyway, thankfully Mr. Lorcha was passing by and dragged us back to dry land. It took all his strength, I'll wager. A thousand thanks, kind stranger. Without your bravery, we'd never have gotten out of that ditch alive.
No, sir. That if you ever need anything, and it's within our power to help, you can count on us.
Even it's beyond our power to help.
That's too kind of you. It was nothing, really.
Nonsense! You went out of your way to...
Don't worry about it. You should head back home now. Take care.
No! We can't thank you enough.
Oh, one moment, both of you. That sewage could well contain harmful compounds. I'm something of a doctor. Let me give you a prescription. Make sure to use the medicine and get some good rest. There you go.
I don't know what to say. Sorry to trouble you. We'll take our leave now.
Watch your step. Wouldn't want to find ourselves in another ditch now, would we?
Here, that's the prescription he gave us.
A paper flower? It's beautiful. Did Luocha make this?
That's right. He wrote down the prescription and folded it into shape.
A man of romantic sensibilities, one might say.
The paper looks familiar. Can I open it?
Of course. We'd already opened it when we showed it to the pharmacy.
We were planning on handing it over to the Realm Keeping Commission. We suspect it's probably our best chance of tracing him.
We can take it off you. We'll let you know when we find him.
Let me see. Of course!
What is it?
It's the title page of the Angler Mystery! The prescription's on this side, but on the back there's... Huh? So that's what this is all about?
It's on the back.
Take a look yourself.
Okay.
The immortal spoiler? Some people just want to watch the world burn.
I'm starting to think the Luocha we envision doesn't square with the real one. Would a villain do a good deed like this?
So he paid for the book and tore off the title page to protect people from the spoiler. He must be a fan of this book too. I knew Angler Mystery fans couldn't be bad. Looks like the whole thing was just a big misunderstanding.
Indeed. And I've learned not to judge a book by its cover. Anyway, that's enough reflection for one day. Let's get going.
Get going to where, Mr. Yang?
Garden of Gourmet. You two deserve a treat.
Yay!
Okay, done.